All right, looks like we're live. Thank you guys for being here. I am your host, G Funky Boxing. I'm joined by my co-host, D Style Boxing, as always, every week. And we got a special guest in the house tonight, Raw
Raw
Boxing
boxing in the
TV.
house.
That's right, man. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for
Been a
having me,
while. You've been away for a little bit, but you're now and he's ready, you know?
man. It's been crazy because I was first, like I said, I was gone for 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it was. Then I tried to make a comeback. Then 8 months ago, with all this COVID stuff, we got hit at work and it working 60, 70 hours a week. I haven't had time to do no videos, but I'm back now. Like our work schedule is settling a little bit.
Hey, good to have you on. Shout out to everybody out there. Hit the like button and share this on all your social media platforms.
That's right.
That's right, man. So you guys see the title here, man. You know what's gonna go down, and believe me, it's gonna go down, man. So we have some questions here for our boy Raw Boxing, man, our brother. And you know, we just want to get into this stuff, man, because I had did a video last week, almost a week ago to the day, where I talked about Aki TV. That's a guy you're familiar with, huh, Raw?
Yeah. First of all, I'm gonna say this. Aki, to me, the way I consider him, to me, he's my homie just because of the how far back we go, right? But obviously, with me being absent from the boxing world and all of this stuff, I come back and I find I used to know him as Arab Pimp, and I'm still cool with him. I don't know if he's still cool with me. The kid even sent me some hats. I got a video somewhere in my channel where I was thanking one of my subscribers that had sent me like 3 hats. I don't know if y'all remember some hats that I used to wear. One was like a baby blue with some pink and then a hat. But anyway, that whole story. Back then he was called Arab Pimp. And I was always cool with him. You know, when he had 130 subscribers, you know, I did Uvu. Back then the website Uvu was hot. So I did
I
an
remember
Uvu.
that.
I did an Uvu with him. I said, "Hey man, come on over, man. You don't have, you don't have to do nothing. You just come over. We'll share some boxing knowledge and um and what I left was a humble kid, very humble, very good, nice kid. I'm not saying he has changed, but then I come back, I find Aki. I've spoken with him like 2 or 3 times since I came back, and I don't know. So I don't know. I don't want to say that it got to him, but back when we was doing videos, um, one of the main things that we wanted to identify ourselves by was let's be different. What different in the sense that I don't want to follow nobody else's narrative. I want to get in front of the camera. I want to speak my mind, run with my opinion. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. Just give me the respect. And if I don't agree with you, I'll give you the same respect. And I'm having a hard time finding the similarities in between those things back 6, 7 years ago to the now. To me, he's my homie. I don't know if I'm their homie. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't talked to them that much, but there is a lot of things in the YTBC that they're doing that I'm not quite happy with. However, I do respect their opinion, but the minute you put it here on YouTube, what you've done now is you've put it on a public platform and you have allowed everybody to listen to, and you have given them the right to reply. So I guess that's what we're going to do today. From my end, I'm going to try to be as respectful as possible. I mean, you guys already know me. I try to keep it PG, mainly because of my kids.
That's fine.
And
That's perfectly fine,
and
man.
yeah, and a couple of kids to follow me. I know there's a gym here, House of Warriors. My brother-in-law goes there. There's like 4 or 5 subscribers from there as well. So I'm going to try to keep it PG. We're going to try to remain respectful, but we can talk about boxing, and then whatever questions you guys have, I'm happy to clarify it about. I heard they got something called DBLC. What is it called? DLC or D?
Yeah, well, we'll get into that another time. Yeah, we'll get into that another time. But I want to go ahead and say what's up to the familia that showed up. Black and Brown is here. What's going on, bro? Run PMC, as always, baby. Wolfpack, always, you know. Cano Loco's here. He says, salute to all. The one and only Prophet, Chicano Prophet. What's going on, bro?
Salute.
Wheelchair, man. John is here, man. Hey, thanks for joining us live, man. You always seem to catch us late, but I'm glad you're here this time, man. A-Rod says, saludos, vatos locos. That's right, man. We are some crazy dudes, man. Bruce Goes is here. And, you know, as always, man, welcome, guys. I see Haplotype. I see Leave It in the Ring. Good stuff, man. I'm glad you guys are here. So,
I want to ask you a question. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
let me put it this way. Let's just be like straight up, like you know, and it's PG, of course. Although we're in uncensored, and I might not keep it PG, but it's okay. I might take a little PG-13, but let me just say this.
I'll do beep if you say something.
If you know, how well do these guys know you, the new media guys? Like if from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 very well, and 1 not so much. Where would you put it? Like,
At a YouTube level or at a personal level?
well, both. How about that?
Okay, at a personal level, we've never met each other in person. We always kept a phone relationship, mainly because one, Dante used to live in Las Vegas, right? Aki, I've never asked him what state he's from, but me and Dante did, and I believe do still have a good relationship. Now, there's a lot of things we spoke in private about our private life that obviously is not suitable for me to put out here on
Absolutely.
on YouTube. You know, I got evidence of this. If you go back on my video history, so again, Dante's my homie. When Dante had 280 subscribers, I had him over through Uvu, but not on Raw Boxing. Remember, I used to have another channel that I closed with thousands of subscribers called Acuba, right? I had Dante over. And Dante, like I said, none of these guys, I've never charged them or anything. They freely I was given, so I was trying to give out for free. You know what I mean? So I was having them over. We were sharing some boxing. Let me tell you, Dante knows a lot about boxing, man. That's why I'm so shocked. I can kind of understand the Aki side of it, you know, because I don't know Aki's knowledge of boxing as well as I know Dante's. When I tell you Dante knows boxing, Dante knows boxing when it comes to breaking a fight technically. Again, we all have the way, our own personal ways of processing things, but this ain't. I'm not cool with. I don't agree with.
Well,
a lot of
for the record, I mean, we will never ask you to, you know, unveil any private
Yeah.
at all. We're not into doxing or anything like that, right? So we're right in line, right with you with that one.
Yeah,
so
and
would
mainly
you
out
say
of respect
10?
for them, you know, out of respect for them.
Absolutely,
Like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is if somebody mentioned, you know, hey, hey, Dante, you know what Raw TV is? His answer would be what?
His answer would be Louisville, Kentucky. I mean, and if somebody asked me, I'll be like, he's in Thailand. You know, he bought a building.
10.
Front the first floor, it's a sports bar. I believe second or third floor. He's actually, last I spoke with him, he was like, hey, man, I'm working on building a radio station here. I want to bring the radio show back, and I'm actually very happy for him. The man is very smart when it comes to this. Put it this way, if you talk to Dante and he had the desire to be honest, which I'm pretty sure he could be, a lot of the YouTube knowledge that he has came from our conversations, right? I don't want to call myself responsible for Dante's fame because I'm not. When I left YouTube, Dante had 2,000 subscribers, and then we kept talking for a while after that, and I saw him go from 2 to 10,000 subscribers and stuff like that. He would call me to ask me some questions. We will carry on a long conversation. But again, when I tell you Dante knows some boxing, he knows some. The Dante I know is not the Dante you all know. And I'm talking strictly boxing. That's leaving. That's leaving the personal side. The Dante I last knew, and in the YTBC, is not the Dante today. And trust me, that's why I'm a little shocked. But it is what it is, man. So, like I said, we can go into a lot of things, a lot of the fights that are being controversial, that they're carrying on the controversy. Y'all can ask questions, and I'm gonna be respectful to the best of my ability.
What's something that shocked you about Dante recently? I know you said, "Hey, I'm kind of shocked." Can you give me an example of something that shocked you, a topic, and we could dive into that topic?
Hmm.
Well, what shocked me about Dante was when Dante and I used to do videos, and again, there's evidence of this in my channel. When we used to go into boxing talk, we used to do exactly just that, boxing. And whenever there was something racist about something, some fight or some fighter, then we would jump into that. So our conversations was not purely emotional, was purely factual, based on boxing first, and then the outside trouble that was attacking boxing. Like I remember there was on the build up to the Nonito Donaire fight and Rigondo, him and I used to share a lot of Uvu sections together. And I
Yeah.
remember a lot of guys would post hate comments like, Nonito's gonna kill that monkey and he's gonna be another monkey falling off the tree. Now, I mean, you don't need to be a sociologist to know that when you're calling a black fighter a monkey, it's strictly a racist comment. That's the only time we would touch on racism, is when there was actual racism being implemented. But for example, I'll give you an example. Like the other day, I was talking to, I was listening to a video that he did, because sometimes I have issues finding his channel. But now, apparently, because Teofimo Lopez is now fighting David Haney, somehow there's racism involved in that
Every
from the
time.
network. From the network, I'm not sure that I heard him call Teofimo racist, but I did heard he tried to implement like Max Kellerman, trying to keep the Latino from the young black fighter. And you know, that's I was like, damn, Dante, that's not the dude I know. Because because back in the days when we used to go into racism, we went into it with evidence, not assumptions, not feelings, but with evidence, and I would like to say respectfully that a lot of that is spews for views, and they have no need. Dante doesn't need more views. Dante has plenty of subscribers. Dante makes money out of sponsors and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. He really is a great analyst, because I know what he knows about boxing. The man has a lot of knowledge. But
I
I
want to
feel
say
that
this,
today.
man.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I agree with you there, man, because I've been on YouTube since 2011, and I was just doing my little videos, speaking my mind, and guys like Dante would come and leave comments on my videos back. This is before we had live shows. You could leave a live chat. He would come and leave comments, and his channel, I think it was Dante 562 or something like that.
Correct. 562.
Yeah, and he was good at breaking down fights. Like I agree with you on that. It's just somewhere along the line, like something changed, man. Like I don't know what it is, but it just got over the years. It got harder and harder to listen to this guy. He's such a. I mean, and this, I'm gonna just tell you this is the way I'm looking at it from my perspective as a guy who's been subscribed to him for multiple channels that he's had. Being a Mexicano that I am, I feel like he does have something towards us, man. There's a lot of people that I know here that think the same way. Now, I know he spoke about his past, about how he grew up in Long Beach, and I know that there's a lot of tension between black and brown down in Southern California. It's not everywhere, but there is in some places. But is that ever something? Is that the reason why? I don't know if you can answer that, but like I've always wanted to know if that's something that he's carrying around for the rest of his life, because it seems like he goes after the Latino fighters an awful lot, man.
Actually, to be honest with you, I I don't think I've ever exchanged any conversations with him, and honestly speaking, to where he had any hard feelings towards Mexicans. We did went into a lot of conversations, like when we would do like our Lara video versus Canelo or versus Angulo and all that, and of course, I always say, look, there's racism in every culture towards every culture. Okay. You're going to find whites that are racist. You're going to find Cubans that are racist. You're going to find Mexicans that are racist. You're going to find blacks that are racist because that's just the condition of the humanity that we're living in. But I've actually never found him in a conversation telling me something that he has against Mexicans. Um I have seen some, where he has some sort of animosity towards well, back then, I don't know about now, but towards the Asian slash Philippine slash
Yeah.
Nonito slash Pacquiao followers. But that is because those guys came at us hard with
It's true.
racial I mean,
Yeah.
Dante was called a lot of racist names from them. Beef with Mexicans and Latinos, I would be lying if I would say, yeah, man, I know that. I know that. But
Yeah.
to he would defend a lot of Cuban fighters, specifically if they were of the darker complex. But when you're talking about Cuban boxing, 98% are darker complex.
I mean, look,
Yeah.
when it comes to that, I mean, I could speak for me and G Funky as well. Look, when Bob Arum did what he did to Rigondeaux, when fighters were avoiding Rigondeaux, I spoke out against that loud.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So this idea
Yeah.
that Mexicans, they never stand up for like this and that, like that's a bunch of bull. Okay, that time when Andre Ward was being accused of ducking Kovalev and all that, I remember all that.
Yeah.
I spoke for Ward. I stood up for Ward when people were saying he was scared, and then they were saying he wasn't going to do the rematch. I stood up for Ward. Like, you know what I mean?
Correct.
So I feel like sometimes they just put us in a box or whatever. But let me give you an example of something I saw Dante do, and I just kind of want your kind of thoughts on it. So Dante Boxing did a video. It caught my attention because I was watching a lot of videos post fight. Tank versus Leo, as boxing fans, what do? We go around, we watch everybody's post fights.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I've been doing that for years. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm watching Dante's. He literally says, hey guys, I really hope that they give Tank credit, guys, for this knockout. I mean, if you remember, they gave Canelo all types of credit when he knocked out Amir Khan, guys. But we know what's up with that, guys. Now, my only problem with that is no one gave Canelo credit for that knockout. Okay. No one gave him credit for that win. Everybody predicted him to knock out Khan. That was not a hard fight to pick. He was criticized for that fight.
Yeah.
What universe does this guy live in to use that as an example or some type of parallel when honestly it's not there? And everybody knows it's not there. Like
Yeah.
everybody knows that. Like, why take this moment to bash Canelo for in a weird way, of course, right? Because he's kind of bashing him, but he's doing it like look at all the credit this guy gets for knocking out Amir Khan, the guy who had to move up in weight. Nobody called him little, guys. But everyone's calling Leo Santa Cruz little. Well, we know what's up with that, guys. I mean, Dante, stop the act, bro. Just say that everybody's being racist against Tank. Like, just say it. Like what are we doing here? Like, just parsing words, if that's how you feel. Like, just get to the point. Just say it. Stop insinuating it. Like, if it's like everyone knows what the tactic is, in my opinion. But
Like
that is
subliminally saying
a
something.
horrible example. Like, there are real examples you can pick, right? We just talked about one. Okay, look at Rigondeaux. Look how Bob Arum has treated him, right? Spoke out against him. I don't know what to do with this guy. And then Crawford, he publicly comes out and says, I'm losing money with Crawford, this, that, and the third. That would be a better example because I never seen Arum do that with any other fighter. Not off the top of my head. I'm not saying he hasn't, but those are some examples that I think are more like they're just better examples. So, you know
well,
what I mean?
Bob Arum, let's remember back, Bob Arum did it with Rigondeaux when he said publicly, and this is when I started my war against Bob Arum. You're being paid between 25 to 33% to promote this fighter, right? So if your job is to promote a fighter, such as back in these days, Rigo, why would you get on TV and say HBO regurgitates when I mention the name Rigondo. What you're doing there is demoting the fighter you're being
Supposed to be
paid to
promoting.
promote, right?
Mhm.
So, but back to Dante and the whole Canelo. I think Dante. You see, a lot of people used to call me a Canelo hater. They never different. They never was able to fully contextualize what I was saying. You asked me about Canelo today. I can tell you, in my book, just my book, Canelo is greatness right now, right now. But that is why, but that's because Canelo over the years has grown.
Right.
The problems I was having with Canelo back then is because back when he wasn't what he is today, and I'm not talking fame, I'm talking boxing skills. When he didn't have half of the boxing skills that he has today, they was already trying to put the kid as the cream de la crop. And I was simply saying, he's not. But Canelo was so young, and he's still young. I mean, when you think of Canelo Alvarez, the dude has been fighting since he was 15 years of age at a professional level. He's not even 30, or is he 30 yet? No, he's not 30, right?
I think he might be 30 now. Yeah.
Okay, now. Oh, wow. And the
Yeah.
brother got like, what, 50 fights? 40 fights? 50 fights or something like that? Okay, so we've had Canelo for years. And people need to realize is back then, 5 years ago, right? 6 years ago, 7 years ago, Canelo was not even the shadow that he is today.
Today, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And it's not Canelo hating. It was basically putting Canelo in the position that he belonged, boxing, speaking from a boxing perspective. Obviously, a lot of people thought that I was attacking once again Canelo the man. People have never been able to differentiate them when here at the YTBC, when we speak about a boxer's skills, we're talking about the boxer, not the son, the friend, the father, the husband. You know, people need to leave those emotions aside and say, let me see what Ranger's saying, or what G Funk's saying, or what D Style is saying. Let me contextualize it. Let me analyze it. Let me investigate it before jumping in the keyboard war room and putting all kinds of things. What happened with Dante is because he received a lot of attacks with Canelo. Every Canelo video, if you go back in his history, a lot of attack. Okay.
Right.
Not just from Mexicans, attacks from various people. Okay. If you're telling me that today he's still speaking in a negative way about Canelo, the only thing I could say is he probably still has that negativity from back in the days stuck in his head. Okay. But if I was Dante, I would seriously consider what he's saying about Canelo today, because Dante knows too much boxing to not see what Canelo is today. Mind you, that even today, the Canelo that to me is great today, from time to time, they don't give him the toughest opponent. But we also got to realize that the toughest opponents are not always available. Right?
Mhm.
I want to say something here because I know Haplotap asked earlier. I mean, what is new media? I mean, the truth is, everyone has a different definition for it. In my opinion, they're just a bunch of YouTubers talking boxing, just like me. Like they're not any different than that. But if you ask, I think a lot of people, the way they would define it, Haplotype, it's a new generation of media members, okay, that don't play by the old guard's way, right? Like an alternative
Correct.
news source to that. That's all it is, okay.
Yeah, they
But I
claim.
don't think
Oh,
differently, honestly.
yeah, they claim. Well, this is if you just go to Dante's channel, it's right there on his channel where it says the whole truth, and he says that a lot in his
Mm,
videos.
mm.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
I can tell you,
What do you think about that?
I can tell you back when we used to do videos, that was 100% true. Again, today I don't know. You want me to tell you something, and this is the honest truth. Since I've been back, I've watched more showbiz and more of y'all's channel than anybody else's. It's mainly because those are the people I'm kind of still in touch with, right? Um, so today, and like I said, I don't know why I'm having issues. Sometimes issues finding Dante's channel. He told me, "Oh, you're not blocked." I checked. I'm not blocked, but for some reason, I even did the belt. So I don't always look at his videos. But I can tell you, back in the days when he was running around Vegas doing his thing, that was the focus. Like I told you at the beginning of the video, our job was to just remain true to the facts. To the facts. Obviously, every human being from time to time, led by emotion, makes a mistake, and we are not innocent or exempted from that. From time to time, we did made our while speaking to the camera, we did made our mistakes, right? Tell me one person that doesn't. But I can tell you, ego, it's a stain for Dante's new media group. Aki, Aki, I think when I hear Aki, I'm hearing Dante
Yes.
today.
Right. He's a parrot.
It's not the person that I used to know as Arab Pimp. Again, he's my homie.
Was that
And
Arab?
if you go back, Aki can carry on his thoughts about boxing. He done it in my channel. Now, I don't know if it's because he's sort of like under the shadow of Dante when it comes to the YTBC, where he has access to Dante's channel. Dante gives him followers. Dante gives Ego followers. The only reason Ego got that much followers, or half of the followers, is got partially is because of Dante. So Dante's been covering this guy's Blue Bloods, I think I was told as well. My only thing with Dante is, homie, you know too much boxing. You was like that G that I would feel comfortable with sitting down in front of a camera and speaking to the world. And I know he hasn't lost that perspective of boxing. But I also think that because all the I when I listen to a lot of this guy speak, you could see that the influence from the actual media sipping into the sport, where everything is racism. If you disagree, it's racism. If you looked at me wrong, it's racism. I'm sorry. As a Latino, I guard that word with cherubs. You see what I'm saying? Because that is a word that allows me to identify a certain individual that's meaning to do harm to me. So I'm not getting ready to cheapen that word to the point that it's like you use a pair of chanclas so much that it ain't worth nothing no more. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Same thing is happening to that word. I'm not willing to go down that route, because that's going to happen is eventually the actual racist is going to stroll down the park and you won't be able to identify it. Because guess what?
You desensitize the word.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct. And that is a word that us Latinos, us blacks, heck, I'll even say this, even whites, any human being can use that word, because again, in my opinion, my humble opinion, racism comes from every race towards every race. You're going to find Latinos that are racist. You're going to find whites that are racist.
Yeah.
You're going to find blacks that are racist, Asians that are racist. I mean, come on. What world are we living in? What are we trying to sell to people here? You know, is there racism in boxing? Yes. That's a fact. That's an undisputable fact. Has there been black fighters racially mistreated in boxing? Yes. Jack Johnson, Muhammad Ali. There was another one that was actual back in the days, actually systemically. Kid Gavilan, the black Cuban, Kid Chocolate, the black Cuban.
Jack Johnson, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, my dude. But
Now,
and now they're trying to say Deontay Wilder? Really? Let's go into that. That's where I'm here for.
well, here's what I want to say. I mean, look, like here's my thing about that, right? From what I gather from a lot of these conspiracies, that like they have to have a starting point, right? So the starting point is that it wasn't just like a guy, or it wasn't just Fury in on it. It was a collective, right? So that means that Fury's team, Fury himself, traders from Wilder's camp, right? The commission, the powers to be, like we're all in on this act, right? And to me, where I come from, great claims, require great explanations. They
Great
require
evidence.
great proof. Like you can't just say that, you gotta prove it. But back to the starting point, if the starting point is this, and I hear you, Rob Boxing. I mean, another guy that was mistreated was Larry Holmes.
Oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Larry
He
Holmes.
was mistreated. A guy in the radio literally said after he won, the guy said, "This is a dark day. This is a horrible day for fight fans and for America," or something
Correct.
like that. I'm paraphrasing. That's horrible. So I'm acknowledging all that, but here's my first problem. Boxing just isn't that big anymore. White supremacy, that force, doesn't give a fuck about the heavyweight championship of the world anymore. They don't care
I
about boxing.
guarantee you they put money on Deontay when he fights. They after the paper.
I don't know. I don't know. I just what I'm trying to say is it just isn't that big of a sport to where they're gonna care that much to put an apparatus together
Correct.
to screw Wilder that way. I mean, if he was drugged, I mean that's all you would have to do, really. But I could always, if I rewind, let me give you an example of a fighter that I defended that happened to be African American. That was Jermell Charlo in the Harrison fight. Okay,
Yep.
people were coming out saying he cheated. He drank out of the Gatorade bottle. Well, he had a clear bottle, and then they gave him a Gatorade bottle. How do we know that was? Oh, that must have been something that they did to cheat. Yada yada yada. And I called it at the time, and I still feel this way. That was manufactured outrage, is what that was.
Yeah.
People looking for something to complain about or to be conspiratorial about, right? And I
Correct.
said, nah, guys, that's manufactured outrage. Let me tell you something, man. Like the commission's like right there watching these dudes with a water bottle. They're like right there. Like, you know what I mean? But here's what I want to say. If you can't trust the commissions, if the argument to everything is don't trust the commission, if that's end all be all, okay, so how do we not? So maybe Charlo did put something in the water then, right?
Okay.
How do we know then? How do you not know he didn't get that extra boost and cheat Harrison of his win? Now, I don't think that's what happened, but if that's the position you're going to take, you have to consider that. You know what I mean?
Okay. Let's jump into this glove gate. I don't want to run the show, but if you give me the freedom, let's jump into this glove gate. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So let's be clear on something. When it comes to the the group of YouTubers that's running this glove gate conspiracy, I can honestly tell you there may be one has worked a corner, and he was an amateur corner. I'm not Mr. Know-It-All, but you're looking at a guy that has worked amateur corner. I trained MMA Highlanders, MMA school here. I was their boxing coach. I trained professional fighters. I have worked the locker rooms. I have wrapped hands. I know how everything works at a lower level, local level, let alone at a Vegas level or a high venue level. For Deontay Wilder to say what he's saying and for it to be true, that means, watch this. Watch how nothing makes sense. That means that night, Mark Britlin, somebody that was making anywhere between 30 to 33% of Deontay's purse as a coach, that person, the commission, VADA, the referee, the promotion, the entire world, the angels falling around the universe, everybody somehow became against Deontay Wilder. What I'm seeing on Deontay Wilder is nothing but emotionalism and wrong management. Deontay Wilder was probably chilling in his life. Didn't even realize that the contract was expired. Now that he realizes the contract expired, now he's trying to do everything that is possible to get a third fight. The thing is, Deontay Wilder needs to be very thankful. Hear me out very clearly. Very thankful to Mark Britlin. One, for saving his life. Mm-hmm. Two, because Mark Britlin can simply just establish a lawsuit against Deontay for defamation of characters for millions of dollars. Now imagine if Mark Brilliant sued Dante. Imagine if Vada came after Dante because Deontay is claiming that there was muscles relaxers in his water, something that should have popped in his post-fight drug test, right? So that means that the Vada or USADA, I don't remember who managed that fight. Vada had to be in it. Imagine if the referee will go after Dante for defamation of character. Imagine the promotion will go after Dante Wilder for defamation of character. This man is running a script that if the script was to turn on him, he wouldn't be able to cash it. And now, the issue I see with that is, first of all, when you have a fighter that his hands are wrapped, let's destroy the egg weight issue here. When you have a fighter that his hands are wrapped, from experience, I can tell you, when he makes a fist, let me angle it in the camera to where you. When he makes a fist, right? He can. This is about the only thing he can do right here because of the padding being stuffed right here. Put an egg weight that's probably about this much right here. Now Tyson Fury has his hands like that. Now watch this. Can you imagine if Tyson Fury's punching like this the whole night? He would destroy his freaking fingers all night because he's not able to do this because of his hand wraps. Now on top of his hand wrap, add an egg weight. That's about as much as he can be able to close his hands, right? So, oh, you hit me here with an egg weight. That's why I had an egg weight shape around my head. Stop it, bro. Every YouTuber carrying this narrative, stop it, my dude. Stop it. Look at them pictures right there. Okay? Look at them pictures. There's no egg weight. Look at those gloves, how they're closed. Okay? There's no egg weight. There's nothing in those gloves. Another thing is, why are they trying to excuse Deontay Wilder's recent last defeat with the first fight? Have you noticed how they're doing that?
Right.
They're showing you images and pictures from the first fight. Just say, see, this is why he won. No, he won. But no, you're giving me images from the first fight to tell me that he lost the second fight due to what you're showing me on the first fight.
I've had guys tell me this, man, that right here, this is the first fight on this side. This is the second fight. I had a guy tell me, I need someone to explain why the tape is showing here. You know, that tells you that his hand's not all the way in there. But this picture alone just destroys that because you can clearly see, look at, that's a balled up fist right there.
Correct.
With the tape showing.
Not only that, man, when you leave emotionalism aside, when you leave, I guess, the fear of scrutiny aside, and you go for the truth. Okay, if we remember, let's go into the whole nonsense of why was his glove bending back 90%, 90 degrees, right? You've seen that. I've seen it out here on YouTube. Go back to Muhammad Ali. Go back to Muhammad Ali. You're going to see Muhammad Ali flickering his jab. With a flick jab, yeah. Yeah, it's a flick jab. Not only that, Ali, when he would start a combination where he would start with a lead left hook, follow with a right, he was slapping dudes because that's the kind of fighter they are. That's the kind of...
This is a 12-ounce. Can you put me on a bigger camera, Jim Funky?
Yeah, I got you right now. Give me a second.
This is a 12-ounce. And you know what? My fingers are in there, okay? I could do this.
And you know what? And you know what, D? That's a cheap glove.
Yeah, that's a store-bought glove. It's not a professional glove.
And not only that, you have no hand wraps. Okay? You have no hand wraps. And another that, those gloves you got on, they're dry. When you're talking boxing, professional boxing, those gloves are soaked and wet. Therefore, unless you have a fist and you shooting that jab, if you're flickering, man, that's gonna bend because that's weight on the glove.
I saw a video though. Like I saw a video where they said, "Oh, this is the smoking gun." You know what I mean? They've been telling me they got smoking gun. I'm
has Dante Wilder done a video about this? I mean, how's Dante's Boxing Nation done?
Oh, he's done a million videos. Oh yeah, bro. That's what I want to ask you about. I want to ask you about that. Oh, go ahead, D-Saw. Go ahead.
Really quick, I saw a video that said this is a smoking gun. Wilder punched the glove in the first fight, by the way. He punched the glove and it went like this. and they say this is proof. If Deontay Wilder punched my glove, my hand will go back too. Look. Look at this.
Of
course, if he punches it.
Especially Deontay Wilder. That hits like a mule kick.
I mean, come on. Like, oh, we got it. And this is, by the way, this is a glove designed to hit the punching bag. There's more padding right here. Okay? Correct. It's got the bar right here. Okay? Come on. Like, oh, look, his glove's like this.
Now I want to make a disclaimer.
Like this. It's not that hard. Like they don't bend back like this. Yes, they do bend back.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
So why did Haney's bend back at that angle, a 90-degree angle then? 45-degree angle. Why did Haney's bend that way? The same exact way. Well, why did it bend that way?
Yeah, and he's not even wearing a horse-haired glove in that photo. He's wearing the Grant Therapeutic gloves that are a little more solid, but still it bent back, so yeah, it doesn't make sense, man. But go ahead, Raw.
Now I want to make a quick disclaimer. The purpose of this video is not to bash on Aki, bash on Dante. Basically, like I said at the beginning of the video, when you make a video and you put it on YouTube, you are putting it on a public platform, and now it allows us to even go over what you're saying. The other disclaimer is, especially me, I'm going to speak for me, not for these two guys that, to me, I think they share my same opinion on this matter. I'm not a Deontay Wilder hater. I absolutely like Deontay Wilder. That's why I'm so angry, because they're taking this heavyweight that was the alpha male of the division, okay? When you saw Deontay Wilder, he was the alpha male of the division, okay? And throughout all these excuses, they are destroying his public image. Now I look at Deontay Wilder and I feel sorry for the dude. I feel sorry for the dude. And now even Deontay Wilder's starting to believe the crap where he's making videos. The Bible said in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, we are gathered here today. I'm like, dude, leave the Bible aside. I'm a Christian. I'm a believer, but leave that aside. Christianity and sports are two different entities. Don't use that to excuse whatever it is you're trying to do, okay? And on top of that, does he not have somebody next to him to tell him, dude, think before you speak? You really want to say that because you have an egg weight shape on your head, it absolutely means that he had an egg shape?
First of all, it wasn't shaped like an egg weight. That's the funny
thing. No, it looked like a balloon. Okay, so you guys
corners,
have,
right?
Huh?
You worked corners.
Yes,
so
plenty of them.
I want to ask you this, because this is, if someone has like right here, like some swelling, right? It's just starting to form, right? JD's wasn't pushing on the swelling. He wasn't pushing on it.
Correct.
He was going like this, right? Kind of easing away from it.
Yeah.
Is that tactic to avoid the swelling building up on the eye?
Correct.
Pump, right?
Correct. But not only that, I want to say something that is very important, and I want everybody to pay close attention. When a fighter gets a swelling.
Oh my God.
Oh Lord, don't do that. Man, man, he had an egg weight on his inside those gloves.
I think
his hand
is in the wrist. It's in the wrist.
You say something like, I never seen the glove do it, and then we could just give you a picture, then you got to throw your hypothesis out the window.
Hey, his hands are not all the way in. Why is the white line showing on top? That means there's tape there on top of the blue tape.
It's an 8-ounce glove, and you couldn't totally do that.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Because I did it with a 12-ounce glove with more padding in the wrist area. Okay?
I wish I could talk to Dante. Look, if I could get in touch with Dante, I'm going to convince him the hardest to come in here and talk with us. Because y'all telling me he did videos like this. I haven't seen him. I repeat, G-Funk, I have not been involved with boxing for a while.
Yeah, I got you.
But to go back to what I was saying in the beginning, a hit never determines the shape of a swelling. Never. A fighter can get hit by the same knuckle in the same spot in 6 different fights and get 6 different shape on 6 different swellings. Okay? I want to get that out the way. So just because there is an egg shape, that doesn't automatically means that there was an egg weight. Okay? Because you can hit a fighter in the eye 6 times, 6 different fights, same hand, same shot, same power, same velocity, and you will have 6 different swelling shapes.
Right.
And then the swelling changes shape. The more it gets hit, the bigger it gets, the more you manage it. Okay. It changes shapes because the amount of liquid being built in there. Man, there's a lot of fictional excuses being used.
Plus,
And in my opinion, they're destroying Deontay Wilder's credibility.
Yes,
they are destroying it. They're trying to help the dude, and they're destroying him.
Right. Plus, again, Diaz is kind of moving. He's kind of smoothing away, is the term, right? And I just think that helped swelling come over here. All right. So when fucking a 300-pound dude smacking him in the head, that could move the swelling around. I mean, it's not that complicated to me, but you know.
Joe Lopez, the whole glove gate thing reminds it. Let's try to leave. I mean, this ain't my thing, but let's just try to leave the politics out of here. I don't want to hear no Joe Biden, no Donald Trump, no nothing.
Not only that, guys, I see a lot of you just throwing you shit. Like, let's just take personal attacks out of this and talk the topic. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
we got a nice topic here for you guys.
Like, you're not helping. That's what you're doing. Like, you know, at the end of the day.
So Raw
trying
boxing.
to start a race war is not the answer. That's not what we're gonna get here. I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, right out the bat. Okay. Like at the end of the day, like we're talking about the topic and whether or not Glovegate's real. That's all we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay?
So and we also want to get into the David Haney Teofimo thing.
Yeah. We're talking.
I want to ask you.
I'm itching for that one. I'm itching.
Yes, but we need to talk about the issue, like the evidence. That's what we're talking about. Right.
Yeah.
Everything else is just a distraction.
Raw, I want to ask you something. So Dante has done. I don't know how many countless videos about the glove being loose, blood on the wraps of Fury, padding being removed from his glove in the second fight, egg weights, dents in his head, Mark Breland spiking water. Recently, he did a video where somebody sent him a clip of JD's in the corner wiping up some sort of water, and what he says, it looks like a white bag falls out. And he picks up the bag right away, and he covered his ass really good because he said, look, I'm not saying it's anything, but it just looks suspicious, like trying to say, he was trying to say it was drugs, So I want to ask you this. Now that you know all that, do you think that he's just rolling with this stuff to make money or what? Like, what do you think it is?
And that's my whole, and that, look, I'm not against anybody getting that paper. You feel me?
Same for me, yeah.
Go get your greens, bruh. Somebody got to pay the bills, right? Mm-hmm. But my whole thing is we got to realize as YouTubers, look, I'll just put it this way. Me as RawBoxingTV, I'm back at it. I don't need YouTube to pay my bills. I'm good. Let's just put it that way, okay?
I think dudes that don't need YouTube to make money, like scared dudes that need YouTube to make money. That's what I think.
So my thing is this. Me as RawBoxingTV, I'd rather spend the remainder of my YouTube video making career, let's quote unquote that, getting 14 views per video and knowing when I go to bed that I was honest with you, than to freaking blow up a balloon knowing that I have to first lie to myself in order to lie to you and get hundreds of thousands of videos. Why do I say this? When you make such an accusations, bro, listen, man, what we're accusing Tyson Fury of is deserving of prison time, bro.
Yes, it is.
This is attempted murder. This is manslaughter. Okay.
And guys have done time for stuff like this.
Man, the Puerto Rican fighter,
Louis Resto.
Resto, bro. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, man, listen. It's not as easy as getting in front of the camera and like, oh damn, let me just follow this narrative because it's a hot topic in YouTube, and listen. Do they not realize that if Tyson Fury, a man that has confessed to have mental issues, if Tyson Fury woke up tomorrow with a switch inverted in his head and said, I'm going after everybody for defamation of character, because YouTube is considered a business and your business is defaming his character, he can come after you as well. Why? Because you're accusing him of attempted murder, of manslaughter, without evidence that prove these things beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay. When we are here in YouTube, we're influencing people. That's why you hear this name that I can't stand, but it's apparently a name now in YouTube. You can tell I've been away for a while. It's YouTube influencers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what we do. When I say something in boxing about boxing in my channel, you see a lot of guys that agree with me. I know some of them do it because they know what they're talking about. I know some of them do it because they're trying to be nice to me. I know some of them do it just because they're going to believe whatever I say. Okay. So in no matter which way we look at things, we have to be careful in which way we steer the ship of our subscribers. Because if I'm going to present something to you, I want to make sure I have the truth, that whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay? So the Glovegate thing, horrible. Horrible. Because let's remember something. It didn't start with the gloves. It started with the mask. It moved on to the vest.
Yeah.
And from the vest, it moved on to I've been fighting every 2 months. From I've been fighting every 2 months, it went to, the gloves, and then my legs, and then something spiritual. Something was in me that night that Deontay was not the one in the ring. Yeah, he was. It was Deontay in the ring. So if I was to take this clipboard behind me, this thing right here, this canvas behind me, and I was to write down all the excuses, you think it'll fit there? Honestly speaking? No, it won't.
Too many.
And you see how big it is, right? You see how big it is. By the way, YouTube, that is my that's my studio, or whatever you want to call it. But I'm simply mad at this because I'm like, damn, man. I remember when Deontay fought Ortiz. I knew Deontay was gonna beat Ortiz. Now, I never expected Ortiz to just school Deontay in every single round like that. And then Deontay just come and knock him out. I expected Deontay to put up a good fight. Yeah. But when Deontay beat Ortiz, I was like, wow, this dude is the alpha male of this division. Because with this power, only a handful of fighters are going to be able to handle this man. When you look at Deontay Wilder step in the ring, it was like, I'm putting my money there, right?
I picked him to win. Yeah.
Yeah, you looked at the alpha male. He carried that persona with him, right? I don't look at him like that anymore. Ever since I've been hearing all this, the water was spiked. The meal I ate that night was too high on salt. The AC was too low. But you see what I'm saying though? It's too much excuses, man.
Did he say that? Like, did he actually say that?
No, that's just me. No. But I'm saying it's like, but you see how easy I made those excuses? That's pretty much what it seems like. And let's be real. Deontay's last video where he's like, we are gathered here today. He's preaching or whatever. That sounds like a movie. It's got background music. He's got a dramatic tone of voice. It's all an act. And like this promo, act, like WWE yeah, he's trying to do this. Now he's trying to do this to try to force a third fight. I know the third fight will happen, but now because of this, when will it happen? That's the question.
Well, look, how about this, man? Look. I want to address something.
And let me say something before you do. I see a few people asking about Raw Boxing. The link to his channel is in the description. Click the description, subscribe to his channel, man. He's on YouTube, man.
HCP soon too.
And he's gonna be don't even trip. He's gonna be doing shows with us as well. But subscribe to his channel. Go ahead, D-Style.
I want to address man tweet. It says, I'm listening to you guys. Good points. I mean, I disagree, but I'm listening, and I would only ask that if he's cheated before. Here's what I want to say, and here's what I want to present to you guys. Right. The answer is going to be yes, just ahead of time. But did Fury cheat? Did he have a history of cheating before the first Deontay Wilder fight? Yes, right. Did he have a history of cheating when Wilder called him out to fight? When they arranged the whole, stare down in the ring and all that. Yes. Right. So you already knew all those things. Like these things were already a thing but they only became a problem when
until he beat
Fury
him.
won. Once Fury won, it became a problem, right? Nobody was talking about the floppy glove after the first fight. They were arguing that no, Wilder
And
won.
there was plenty of that.
Fury won, right? I mean, that's what they were arguing. I'm not saying, hey, let's not watch for a floppy glove, but I think there's been really good explanations about the floppy glove. I think people keep using the same, visuals of when it was kind of off, like floppy, but he literally told the ref, hey, he told on himself. He looked at the ref and he told him to pull up his glove. You know what I mean?
If you're trying to cheat, would you do that, D-style? If you're trying to cheat,
tell the ref my glove is loose. Like if that's
correct.
The whole point. If you're trying to cheat that way, is all I'm saying.
You see him pushing his gloves in too.
With that said, let's say he did cheat in the first fight, right? Wilder came out and said he punched. He's feather fisted. He said he couldn't hurt him. He said the dude can't hurt me. He's laughable, right? So, okay, what about the second fight? Now we're starting with it was still floppy in the one hand. Okay, although we're showing you pictures of Haney where the glove is doing the same exact thing. If you look hard enough, you're going to find it in other fights. Is that people don't watch slow motion fights, 12-round fights. We just got other shit to do. But now you're making people do it now, though. You know what I mean? But the right glove, I keep hearing this, and I'll clarify with RawBoxing right now, okay? Or look at that frame, the still frame, and you could see his knuckles, right? You could see his knuckles. Like, don't you guys know that they cover the knuckles? They cover the knuckles with the
wraps.
Look,
so those aren't knuckles. It's just the way it looks in the picture. That's all it is.
Correct.
If I see a T-Rex in the picture, right? Oh, that's a shadow of a T-Rex. That's a T-Rex. Why is it there then? Well, I mean, it just looks like a T-Rex shadow, but it doesn't mean that it's like T-Rex hasn't been around for millions of years. You know what I mean? So a T-Rex, it's not here today. All right, okay? No, but look, it looks like a T-Rex. No, but it's not a T-Rex though. It may look like it, but it isn't, right? Those are knuckles. What do you mean you could see the knuckle? These knuckles? You see the knuckles you could see?
You can't see any knuckles when your hands are wrapped.
Because the hands are wrapped, guys.
Correct.
You would see the wrap.
Speaking of the wraps,
if there was no padding, you would see the wrap, the outline of a wrap, not the knuckles. Okay.
The only time you will see a knuckle on a hand wrap is on a bare knuckle fight, where because it is a bare knuckle contest, the hand is wrapped up until this line here, and it is meant to protect the hands and the wrist, just like boxing gloves. And because a lot of people think boxing gloves were created to protect the boxer's face. No. Boxing gloves were created to protect.
Lying?
Yeah, we've been saying this a long time.
Have I been lying?
Now, look. So go ahead.
One more thing I want to say. I hear you, of course. If you have a history of cheating, maybe you should look closer. But let me repeat the process again, just so everybody can kind of understand, okay? The day before the fight, they have a glove selection meeting, okay? RawBoxing knows about those.
Yes.
Okay? RawBoxing, we had some YouTubers acting like that's new. Like Povetkin was the first team to do it.
No.
Yeah, that's the funny thing.
Listen, you don't even.
Somebody saying, "Hey, you see them guys? Like I never seen somebody do this. Like Povetkin's trainer put on the glove and you went like this, and
like that always happens.
Always.
As a fighter, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, there's a glove selection meeting. RawBoxing, have you ever seen a trainer told, no, you can't be here. You can't be here in the glove selection meeting? Like, no, you can't see the glove.
No. First of all, I'm gonna tell you this: the last professional fight I fought was at the the last professional fight that I worked the corner for was at the Holiday Inns here in Louisville, Kentucky. That night, it was being that card was being sponsored by Bug Eye Promotions, which it's a pass. It's a pass. That night, the special guest was Zab Judah. So I had a Puerto Rican fighter that night, and I was just the assistant coach to him because he came into the gym with his own coach. But they asked me because I was sparring with him a lot, and we was putting in work. You know, I was fresh off of my last fight. I was still kind of like in shape. And their coach said, "Hey man, you mind assisting me on this fight?" I said, "Let's do it, man. This is what I do, you know." When we get to the lockers, I'm the one that's supposed to go over there to make sure that the hand wraps is being done correctly. Okay, guys, I want you to understand something. We as coaches don't get to keep those gloves. We as coaches don't get to handle and manipulate those gloves. The only thing we can carry the gloves, we can squeeze it to feel the padding, right? The fighter that's going to wear the gloves is allowed to get a feel for the glove, right? We're not allowed to manipulate the padding. You can just kind of lightly squeeze it because the commissioner is like, it's like a demon on you. He don't even want. He don't want to know that you're. He's constantly watching what you're doing. Once the fighter chooses the glove, guess where that glove goes? Stays with the commissioner.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it stays with him.
It doesn't stop there.
No, but not only that. Yeah. Go ahead.
They're right there next to the fighter. You can look at them again.
While wrapping the hands as well. The wraps need to be signed off. And they need to be signed off on the tape. And here's why. Once he signs on top of that tape, if you change that tape, that signature is gone. That signature is gone. And it doesn't matter if you retape it and then you try to fake the signature, the commissioner is going to know that ain't my signature. Okay? Because since the tape is taped on layers, once that ink goes over the layers and you move that layer and you try to put it back together just to kind of keep his same signature, it's never going to be the same once you put it back on. Ever. So to that, I'll say one more thing. Up until 2004, you were allowed to take your water to the fights. 2004 came around, and now they wanted to provide the water for you. Even the water that we would give our fighters came from the commissioner, at least here in Kentucky. I don't know about nowhere else, but I'm imagining that here in Kentucky, if it's like that, can you imagine how it is in Los Angeles or Las Vegas or Atlantic City? You know? I mean, come on, my dudes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to address something Kano said. So, okay, you just said it's rare, but you've seen it, right? No one's saying that the system is perfect. Of course, it's going to be like times where people flip. You never know that there could be some corrupt officials out there. All that
there is,
which is why you, as a fighter, are allowed to have your corner inspect the wraps, which is why you're allowed to be at the glove selection meeting. Why you yourself as a team get to look at that, right? Hey, there's something up with this glove. There's some padding missing here, right? Now, I want to do one more thing, by the way. Doing this is not proof that there's no padding on the glove.
Correct. And we are allowed to do that.
Fucking glove, okay? This is a 12-ounce glove, okay? Yeah. And I could push it and feel my knuckles. That's not proof that there's no padding.
And that's a cheap glove
out there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's not a professional type glove either. So, and that's the funny thing about Aki. He's making this video and he's like, "How come it doesn't bend? How come it doesn't bend?" It's like, well, maybe you don't have the same type of glove this guy does, but it can. Right? Yeah, but it can. That's the thing, you know. But I want to ask you something, RawBox. I want to ask you something because, from my understanding, Dante has a son that boxes, right? Does he still box? I mean, I know he did. He used to do videos with his son training and stuff like that, but he came on and did a video. This was early when the Glovegate stuff happened. And he straight up said this: when a fighter gets his hands wrapped in the back, you can't see the palm of their hand, you know? That's what he said. He says that's how. Because
are debatable, bro. That's just factually not true.
Well, hold on. I want to paint the picture for him real quick, because they took that picture of Fury slapping right like this with the hand open, and you can see the crease because the hands are right. You can see the crease of the palm right there. And it's like, look, that's fingers. You don't see the palm when it's wrapped. I mean,
okay. Let me put that to rest. Okay. It all depends on who's wrapping the hand. Let's start with that. Some states do have stipulations where it doesn't matter who's wrapping your hands. Some states might say, or I don't want to say states, some local commissioners might want to see some padding here. There is, when I wrap a hand, you're gonna see the palm. You're gonna see the palm, because when I bring my reinforcement tapes through the knuckles, I bring them and I lace them under my base gauze right here. So you're gonna have the gauze right here, pretty thick, and you're gonna have my support, knuckle support tapes coming under it, and under it. So if a fighter of mine was to open his hands, he would have perfectly hand wrapped, but you could see partial parts of the palm of his hands. Now, the other thing is, when you put the glove on, you can, under those circumstances, see the palm of the hand, because it's laces. Doesn't matter how tight. Mm-hmm. When you put hand wraps, guess what? Now you can't squeeze that glove together. That glove's always going to have a gap.
Yeah, and right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if for example, my style of wrapping, you're going to get about this much of the hands visible. Listen, I don't want my fighter to have 3 rolls of gauze in his hands. I want to make it legal, but lighter. You see what I'm saying? I want to make sure my fighter's wrist is protected, but at the same time, semi movable. Okay. You got fighters that only want that hand wrap up until the bone because they want that flexibility, but that changes. That varies in between fighters, and it's totally legal. Mm-hmm. It's totally legal as long as you use the amount of gauze, as long as it's inspected by the commissioner and he signs off on it. Okay.
Yeah.
But then you do have some coaches that even put a square padding down here, what we call the some people call it the women's pad, like the padding for the women. Yeah. But man, that is such a rare. Okay, you want to debunk that? Look at Floyd Mayweather's fights when he takes off his gloves and he raises his hands. Look at the palm of his hands. Sometimes you're gonna see some skin. Is Floyd Mayweather a cheater?
That's what I was gonna say. He's a big Mayweather fan. You see his palm all the time after the fight's over.
Is Floyd Mayweather a cheater? Look at any fighter. You're always gonna find
the dude's flat out lying. He's flat out lying to the people, man.
You're always gonna find differences, because these are things that, as long as they're within their legal realm, it always falls to the style of who's wrapping the hand.
Right.
Okay. I mean,
but dude, in 99% of them, you could see the palm.
Yeah. Like I said, the other style is very old. Like you could be, it has evolved. It has advanced. As gauze changes in density and quality. Before, let me tell you something. Before, there was a gauze that, the more it got wet, it hardened a little bit, and you can manipulate it, right? With some chemicals to harden even more, which is what Margarito did. Okay. That's why that's the reason they never caught Margarito. That's the reason that hand wrap was inspected and signed off on, because it wasn't hard yet. It only started getting hard as those hands started to sweat, as that water started zipping in there. Okay. So, man, we have to be careful when we make those kinds of excuses, with those kinds of, they're not excuses, they're accusations. Let's call it for what they are. They're accusations. Yeah. And again, these guys are my homie, but man, I'm kind of like in disagreement with the way they're looking at these things.
The Margarito one, but we'll get on that later.
What is it?
Yeah, we've a couple parts on the Margarito wraps. We plan on doing maybe one more little series on it. You could feel free to check those out, man.
I will.
But damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. And I was gonna ask you one more question.
Fimo, man, we're leaving that.
Let's move on then for right now, and then we could always jump back. Teofimo Lopez, man, I want to know, because D-Style and I have been on record plenty of times, and ever since he beat Lomachenko. I want your thoughts, man. Go ahead.
Watch this. When I did my last live 8 months ago, you asked me, who did you like? What did I tell you? I said I like Teofimo for that fight.
Yeah, I texted you.
I recognize, and it's there. They can go check it out. I recognize the level of skills that Lomachenko has. To me, Lomachenko is world class, like cream de la crop. What I saw in Teofimo was a man that knew how to set trap in time. Perfect. Okay. Now, Teofimo, to me, he hasn't convinced me fully on the inside game going toe to toe, but because that's not the fighter he is. Okay. But Teofimo knows how to set trap. Okay. This whole deal with now he's ducking David Haney. That is the allegation. To that, I want to say there's a couple of things to take in consideration. One, he's with Bob Arum. If we look at Bob Arum's fighters, they have a history of talking a lot and then changing their minds. I blame purely the promotion company. And you want to know who will back me up on that? Canelo Alvarez himself. When they asked Canelo about some fights now, he said, now that I'm free, all these fights can happen. What is he trying to insinuate? That there sometimes promotion companies back a fighter and prevent him from fighting a certain fight. I'm not saying that this is Teofimo's case. I'm not saying it isn't. Teofimo, however, first of all, I'm a big Mayweather fan and my favorite boxer, and I'm going to make the connection right now because I don't want you to think that I'm leaving the subject. When Mayweather was pretty boy, Mayweather was asking for everybody, because he had a goal in mind, right? I want to be the man. When he got to the top of the throne, now he's picking the shots. And I put my hands together because he earned it. Okay, so if Mayweather said, I'm going to fight a guy with one arm and then I'm going to fight Pacquiao, both fights, I'll be like, I may not agree with the guy with one arm, but the guy did climb the ladder. Now he owns the division. He gets to choose, right? Unfortunately, that's the kind of professional boxing we live in today. Whatever. Teofimo has climbed the ladder. When you ask me about David Haney is a heck of a fighter. Unfortunately, David Haney fought a Gamboa that came off of a loss to Tank. Mm-hmm. A Gamboa that's 40 years of age and went the distance. Now, I'm not going to say Teofimo is ducking, nor is he, and I'm not going to say he's not ducking. This is what I'll say. If David Haney wants to really make Teofimo look like somebody who is ducking him, go fight Loma. Eliminate everybody. Do the exact same thing that Evander Holyfield did to Mike Tyson. Y'all remember when Holyfield was chasing Mike Tyson? He fought everybody that Mike Tyson fought, right? Because that was the pressure. And then people started making, Tyson fought this guy and only did this. Holyfield came in and swept the floor with him. Until they got to the point that Tyson could not avoid this fight anymore. It had to happen. David Haney should fight Loma.
I say the same, yeah.
And guess what? If David Haney beats Loma, it doesn't matter in which fashion. If he comes out victorious that night, to me, there shouldn't be any excuses now as to the fight not taking place. But until that happens, I can't say Teofimo's ducking him for certain. Right. Right now, all I can tell you is Teofimo climbed the ladder. He got to the top. He owns the place now. And now he's calling the shots. And I know a lot of people don't like that. In the same way they don't like when Floyd Mayweather calls the shots. But that's my favorite fighter, and I've followed his career, and I have recognized everybody he fought, how he got to the top. And guess what? He owns the division. He owned the division. So now Teofimo owns that division. I do believe that Teofimo does needs some assessment on his interaction with the media. Because as a young fighter, his emotions, his testosterone can carry him to say things that later on he might regret. Facts. That happens with every young buck. Okay? So, but no, I don't think he's just ducking him. I think there's a lot of, hidden factors there that
it's
you
a
and I don't know about.
It's a narrative, and people that say this, they know that. This is
And
look.
there's no
We've been,
racism in that.
yeah, we're all here hardcore boxing fans, man. We know how the sport works. It's not ran like the other major sports where there's a schedule, you play a team, you play in the playoffs, you get to the Super Bowl. Sometimes guys do it, like Teofimo. He's a guy who actually did his part. The guy fought in an eliminator against Nagatani, beats him. He knocks out Richard Comey in 2 rounds to become the IBF champion. The next fight, he beats Lomachenko to become the undisputed champion. I think he's the undisputed champion in my opinion, but
he didn't
I mean,
look. He didn't really look that good against Nakatani, but he came out victorious. So now my question is this: look at Teofimo Lopez for a second. Teofimo Lopez doesn't even have 17 fights. Isn't he like 16-0?
Yeah, I disagree. Hold on, disagree with that, Kano. I think if he beats Lomachenko, that there's no reason why he can't get the fight with Teofimo after that. No reason.
And kind of local sport. The only reason I say that, because I want him to contextualize what I'm saying. The only reason I'm saying that is not because if it happens in that manner now, Teofimo is obligated to fight him. No, I'm simply saying to eliminate excuses, because now David Haney can say, "Listen, I fought that lion that you beat, and I beat him too. So I can claim that I'm just as good as you, and there's nobody else better than me in the division. And if you truly after the smoke, I'm the smoke." That's the only reason I'm saying that. Now, whether Teofimo will duck or won't duck, we don't know that. We're not there yet. I'm saying right now, for David Haney to say, "I'm the man here," but boxistically speaking, he needs to go after Loma and beat him.
Yes.
And beat him.
I agree. I agree 100% with that, man. He's got to fight somebody, man. You know, I think if a Lomachenko fight would be perfect. If he fights Lomachenko, beats Lomachenko, then there's no reason why they can't make the fight. He makes a strong case for himself after that.
And now let me ask you an honest question here. Everyone that's posting comments here, everyone that doesn't agree with none of us, how many of you would not enjoy a David Haney Lomachenko fight? Be honest with yourself. I think all of us, because all of us would enjoy that fight.
I would love to see that.
I need to disagree with Kano. Kano, it's better than anybody Haney's fought. I'll just tell you that right now. It's better than Gamboa. Better than anybody's fought. It's a
Gamboa, Santiago. I mean, that's the only guys I know that he's fought is Gamboa.
It'll be a good win. Everybody knows it'll be a good win for him. Come on.
Yes. Yeah, and listen, and I'm not downing Gamboa. That's my homie. You know, Gamboa. Yeah. It's my countryman. Gamboa, it's somebody who I defended a lot in my youth. But the reality, like I told you, I'd rather go to bed with 14 subscribers and knowing that I told you the truth. The reality of the matter is that today, the Gamboa that we have today, unfortunately, due to an extensive rap sheet of events in his life that I will not disclose here,
Kano, how come you wouldn't enjoy that fight? I mean, I understand you didn't think that Loma's that good. Now, that's your opinion. But why wouldn't you enjoy that fight? I think that would be a good fight, a good test for Devin Haney to see where he's at. Loma will test him for sure. Whether you think you'll beat him or not, Loma will test him, man. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
He's not going to hurt him, so I'll be interested to see what happens.
But
Teofimo's a way better fighter than Haney. I could tell you, I'll go on record and say that right now,
bro. Okay. But my question is this: boxing fans. Now let's leave perspectives aside. Let's leave emotions aside. Let's leave favoritism aside. Let's put on our boxing goggles. What's wrong with a Loma Haney fight? What's wrong with that? That's food for our eyes, bro.
Yeah.
This is one of those fights.
Beats Loma better than Theo.
Bro.
Good look for Haney. It'll be
here's the thing that bothers me. Here's the thing that bothers me the most is we're asking, look, Haney fight Lomachenko. Good fight. You know, but then it's like, well, he doesn't have to fight him, but then Teofimo has to fight this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy.
I'm going to go on a rant right now. I got to go on this.
That's not the way it works, man. Go ahead.
Look, this like attitude people have towards Teofimo Lopez, and I've been here for a long time, okay? And I'm gonna tell you right now, I have not seen it with any other fighter to this degree.
It's bad. It's
It
bad.
is bad. Okay, like you're gonna fight this guy, you're gonna fight Haney or else.
Fight him now! Woo!
You better fight him. You better do what we say. Like what's wrong with people? Like, can you take a chill pill? Let's take a step back for a moment. Okay? What he just fought, he knocked out Comey and he beat Lomachenko. Leave your personal opinions to the side. The facts are those are two reigning champions. Okay? Those are the facts. Both opinion. Fuck my opinion, fuck everybody else's opinion. Put your opinion to the side. He's the only one that beat reigning champions, guys with belts. Opinions are only gonna fucking it's just gonna cloud your judgment. That's all it's gonna do. Stick to the facts. He's the only guy that beat two reigning champions. Not one, but two. Two is higher than one. One is higher than zero. Haney beat zero. And this guy beat two. Do you understand that? Like, I'm just putting it as plain. These are facts. Now, let me add my opinion. My opinion is that, as Raw Boxing articulated, one guy's on the Zone, one guy's on ESPN. Do you really think the fight's going to happen next? Everybody knows the fight's not going to happen next. So, of course, you're going to say he's ducking. Of course, you're just going to accuse him of ducking. That's
Building.
We could do the same with Earl Spence right now. You know,
You know
what's funny? He just refused to answer questions about Terrence Crawford and about ESPN in the press conference.
Don't go there.
Is he ducking? Does that mean he's ducking? I mean, just imagine if Teofimo did that. If Teofimo didn't answer any questions about Haney, they're like, oh, he's ducking.
Let me tell you something. If you took your SATs, you would know the following, okay? Look, right? If Spence could fight his mandatory in Ocampo after he wins the belt, why can't Teofimo fight his mandatory? All right, after winning two belts,
that's landing him his minimum demands of $5 million, even if it's in Australia. Who cares?
Why is one guy allowed to fight his mandatory? If you're a Spence fan, you're okay with him fighting Ocampo. I don't have issue with that, so I'm consistent. So Dio gets to do it too. Like, it's not that complicated. You need to fight your mandatories.
But D, when did the word mandatory lost its meaning?
Well, it's lost
mandatory. Mandatory. You are mandate. It doesn't always happen, right? A lot of the times the mandatory sits down with the dude and says, all right, look, I'm willing to step aside for this amount of time. Sometimes they don't negotiate. He just steps aside. But as of now, listen, and let me put something really quick to rest. I'm tired. First is the glove game.
I'm sorry, bro. Gamboa's leftovers, bro.
Yeah.
And he fought Gamboa. So I'm just saying.
Right? Nobody had an issue. Nobody had an issue with it.
Bro, look at this. Bro, look at this, man. I'm tired of seeing people posting comments about he only beat Loma because he had an injured shoulder. My question is, whatever. And so Loma had an injured shoulder, but Teofimo had an injured leg. I think he still has the cast on.
Broken foot, yeah.
So my question is this.
Leg, but he made no excuses. All he did was go out there and win. That's
correct. So we never saw him. We never saw him. Oh well, I only lost because of my leg. Or I couldn't knock him out because of my. No, man. Think about this for a second. There is no excuses on this. There is no way to. After Teofimo did what he did, fighting those 3 back-to-back fights, there's no way we can say, well, Haney deserves a shot immediately.
Bro.
One, because of what you guys mentioned. Let's be real here. The guys that are spreading the ducking rumor aside, they know that there's been a long history. We used to do videos about this. There's been a long history of Cold Wars between promotional companies.
Oh, yes.
You know, there used to be a long history about this.
Oh, yeah. The Zone's going to say, go ahead and fight. Go to ESPN and fight. Like, people are making it seem that it's such an easy thing that's going to happen. I
just, man, I'm telling you, some of these guys will probably stop talking to me about this video after this video, and that's fine. But if Dante and I ever get in touch again, okay, I'm gonna try to convince him to come here because I'm telling you guys, a lot of the things he's doing, I think, with all the respect, is pews for views. Because the man knows too much boxing. I know the man, from a boxing standpoint.
And he won't come here.
You know,
just
well,
like
you never know.
I hope so. I really do hope so. It just, to me, it seems like when I see these guys doing things like, and they refuse to talk to any, like he's got a big platform. Like, how do you not reach out to experts about things? You know, like
you know one thing that that I don't like, that turns me off about the new era pimp, aka Aki, is when he does his callings. It's either what he says or I block you and I hang up on you. And my entire thing is when I allow somebody to come into my life, I don't want him to come in to say, to mirror everything I'm saying. I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear your thoughts. I want you to share with me,
parents, bro.
Right? Yeah. You know, because it's not just about me and you. I'm looking out for the people that are watching. I want to make sure that everybody sees different perspective, a different way of looking at things, right? I want to keep it respectful, but I just don't like when these things happen, you know?
Yeah. And you know what? I hope that you
it's true. Love don't play like that. Are you gonna be parrots? You're not gonna look up the information, get the correct information. You're just gonna believe what somebody puts out. You're gonna believe that's a bag of cocaine because you were told that or insinuated that. You're just gonna believe it. You're not gonna take a moment to look into it.
Only thing missing from
really quick. Yeah. Look. Gamboa's coming off a loss, a knockout loss, one-legged loss. Like, come on, but let me just say this, right? Gamboa was the enchilaquiles at the Mexican restaurant. Okay, that's what he was. He wasn't just a leftover.
Yeah.
He was the enchilaquiles. You know what that is? Like at the restaurant when I was a teen, I would make enchiladas, right? Like all badass enchiladas and stuff, right? And we would use like we would serve them and stuff, right? All the cheese and tortilla that was like left over, I would like scrape it. You know what I mean? I'd scrape it off and put it in a bowl, and then I would put cheese on top of it, and then like somebody would order enchilaquiles, and that's what we would give them. You know what I mean? That's Gamboa.
You know, does anybody know when Gamboa's downfall started? You want to know why?
50 Cent, in my opinion.
Before that.
What is it?
You never got the I don't know if
Gamboa's downfall started when he separated from Ismael Salas.
Oh yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Gamboa's from my same town. When things opened up in Cuba, he started going down to Cuba to train. Well, bruh, in Cuba, when you got money, you're a king. That's just it. And we Cubans always suffer from loving the party. We love to party. You know, we love to the girls, blah, blah, blah. Then he had issues. There's a lot of things I won't go into, but he had a lot of issues. You know why I'm sad about Gamboa? Because that was a guy.
He looked like he
had skills to do whatever he wanted. But because of his lack of discipline, because of the things going on in his life, it got to a point where now 126 was impossible for him. He went up to 130 and then 135. And guess what? Can anybody show me a Gamboa losing at 126? Find me one fight.
No. He was the goods, man. I was really high on Gamboa when I first seen him.
His power was very devastating at that weight. He had to
and this was a guy that every Cuban always got the criticism. Oh, well, they always running, which to me, the term running doesn't exist in boxing unless you're turning your back on your opponent. That wasn't Gamboa. Gamboa would drop his hands, invite you in. He will go in and go at it with you. When I seen Gamboa fight, I was like, yes, this kid has the potential that shows what it's like being a boxer in Cuba. And then I always say the money hit. Man, I've taken criticism.
Let me answer something real quick, man. Let me roll back up. Bam Bam, you said Okay, let me see. So just answer this. Who was Loma's mandatory when it was Haney? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Here's what I'll say.
We know what he's getting at, though. You know what he means.
Yeah, so here's what I just say to that. If you're upset at Lomachenko for not fighting his mandatory when it was Devin Haney, then why are you upset with Teofimo when he's fighting his mandatory?
Can I make a point really quick? Check
Go
it
ahead.
out. Okay? I think people got to make up their minds, right? Like you really need to make up your minds. And let me explain what I mean by that, okay? Either you consider Teofimo Lopez undisputed, and he's the because he beat the man that beat the man as far as the welterweight champion, right? Or I mean, a lightweight champion with the WBC. Either you consider him undisputed, and and Haney's his mandatory, right, for the WBC, and he has to fight him, or you don't consider him undisputed because Haney has a real WBC championship, right? And the title WBC he has is just a trinket with no mandatories. How could he be his mandatory?
Right.
Like Haney is not Teofimo's mandatory, right? But if you actually say he's undisputed, then you can make an argument that he owes him that shot, right? But you don't want to give him the undisputed status. Okay, fair enough. So Haney's another champion, right? Who has his own mandatory to fight. And Fortuna, to be honest with you, he should fight Fortuna. I mean, if we're more accurate about it. So I think what should happen is he should fight Fortuna. All right. Fortuna deserves his shot. Cambozas deserves his shot. Let's do that, and then maybe next year the fight happens. But I'm seeing this. You better fight Haney next year. You're a ducker. You don't think you could beat him. That's why you don't want to see the fight. I don't think you could beat.
Bring that shit on.
However, I'm realistic. I live in the real world. I completely like. And I want to hammer some points home. So let me cook a little bit, okay? First of all,
let me excuse myself real quick.
Needs to fight his mandatory just like everybody else needs to fight their mandatory. Okay, I've never seen people act this way about anybody else fighting their mandatory. That's number one. Number two, nobody else is expected to do like all these things like that this quick, right? Nobody else. Nobody else is expected like Shakur Stevenson. He was a champion at 100 and what was it, 126 pounds featherweight, right? I didn't see any videos from anybody actually saying that you better unify. If you don't unify your next fight, you're ducking. I didn't see that at all. I didn't see any of that. When Adrian Broner won his championships, he never unified with anybody. I never saw anyone demand that he needs to unify. Ever. I never saw that. He moved up and fought Paulie Malignaggi. That's okay, but I don't get it, right? If Teofimo Lopez moves up to 140, Haney could move up to 142. He can get that work at 140 as well. He doesn't need to move on Devin Haney's schedule here. Okay. First of all, dude has a cast on his foot right now. Okay. Second of all, he has a mandatory and his sanctioned body breathing down his neck saying you got to fight Cambozas. Then hey, you got to fight it because guess what? If they strip him of that belt, okay,
the dispute is over.
Fight Haney, then it's really not for undisputed. Okay, so he needs to fight his mandatory. Haney should fight Fortuna because he owes Fortuna a fight. I've been hearing this one a lot. Okay, I've been hearing the WBC set up a tournament where Devin Haney fought somebody and for Teofimo Lopez to fight Fortuna, right?
Yep.
But he got an opportunity to fight Comey for the belt, a reigning champion. So he went that route. Boxers do that all the time. Okay, Haney could have done that. Haney could have, gone to IBF or another sanctioned body if he wanted as well. Haney stayed with the WBC. And then did he fight for Fortuna? No. Instead, I hear, he should have. Teofimo should have fought for Fortuna. So if that's the case, right? Then I could apply the same logic with, well, Loma didn't fight. He didn't want to work with Haney. That's Loma's work. Loma should take care of that, right?
Yep.
It's the same thing. Everything always comes full circle. No one is saying the fight can't happen.
Correct.
Haney can put all the memes he wants right now, okay? All the memes. I haven't heard the Zone or his manager come out and say, "Yeah, we'll let him fight in ESPN." I haven't heard of that.
Yep.
I haven't heard any of that. They're not going to let him go fight on ESPN. He's got a big contract with the Zone. Haney is in the same predicament Crawford is in with right now. Okay,
Keep that same energy.
All the top welterweights are on PBC and Fox / Showtime. Okay, he's with Top Rank. Okay, that is a big barrier, and one of the reasons I kept hearing over and over again why it's okay for EJ not to fight him and fight everybody else and fight and collect all the belts and then get to Crawford at the end, right? That's what I keep hearing. Well, what about Teofimo? He literally just won the title. It's not okay for him just to defend his belt against a top 10 lightweight?
Exactly.
Oops.
That's all I got.
And here's my thing. Here's my take on this. We're talking about two very, very young fighters. How many times do we see a young fighter, very talented, get the belt and lose it on his first defense? Okay, we want to see. It's actually beneficial for David Haney if Teofimo defends that title a couple of times, and then let's say Haney beats him. Then Haney can say, "Hey, look, I defeated this dude who was nobody could take this title from him." Okay, these guys are so young that why not let them get their fights in? Okay, as much as we all want the fight to happen, let's leave the ducking aside. Reality is that these two promotional companies are not going to come together for this fight just now. Okay, on one hand, you have Bob Arum, who is a blood-sucking vampire when it comes to money. Okay,
likes Arum.
Bro, listen to this though. And I guarantee you, if Teofimo leaves, Teofimo gonna make so much money, so much more money outside of Bob Arum than with Bob Arum. Okay, right now, Haney can say he's being ducked. Bill Haney can say his son's being ducked. Aki can say he's being ducked. The world can say he's being ducked. But at the end of the day, the one true factor here that could be preventing this fight is Cold War between promotional companies. Again, I say sometimes young fighters, without being advised, say some dumb things. I think the comment of not fighting Haney for 5 years is very stupid, but nevertheless, he said it. Does he mean it? I don't think so, to be honest with you. I honestly don't think so. But to go from that to say, oh, now he's ducking, man, chill, man. Chill, man.
Here's ducking before you fought Loma.
And chill.
Watch. Like I'm just like, dude, like if you're already accusing him of it, you have to kind of stay on that boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And by the way, let me just say this really quick. This is the way boxing talk is supposed to be, okay? We're supposed to be raw. Shout out to RawBoxingTV, by the way. Okay, well, we're supposed to be, straightforward, to the point, argumentative to a certain degree, but just it's just don't get disrespectful. Like, you know what I mean?
I want to play some.
Giving us your grievances. Me personally, I'm only speaking for myself. I don't care about y'all's grievances. Like, I don't care about which uploader you don't like and like all this other shit. I don't give a fuck. Okay, well, like I want to hear your opinion as an individual. What do you think about a specific topic? That's all I want to hear about. Okay. Shout out to Batman Tweet, by the way. Chilling with us. The debate's good. It's healthy. That's all it is. You know what I mean?
Bam Bam Tweet is a soldier, man. I got a lot of respect for that guy. He sticks around. He comes here, even though he disagrees with us a lot.
Alpha energy right there. He's
here, man. Look, he's here. I wish a lot of the guys that disagree with us would come around. But I want to play this real quick. This is this is from an interview where Teofimo Sr. and Bill Haney were on the same platform here on YouTube. And Teofimo Sr. flat out asked Bill Haney, do you think we're ducking your son? I want you guys to hear the answer. Listen to this.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, sir.
Oh.
No, sir. No, sir. So let's just stop the nonsense, guys. I get it.
Who did that interview?
Oh, that was Punch Drunk. Punch Drunk.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Punch Drunk.
Oh,
I got you.
Hey,
credit to him.
Hey, it can't be no better than that. When you hear that, Go buy you some blankets at Walmart and go to sleep. Sleep, my son, because you're tired.
It's like this, right? I keep hearing, Canelo ducked. I mean, he's going to fight Smith. He's ducking Charlo. I mean, that's random as shit, right? I mean, Charlo's not even campaigning at 168 pounds. I mean, I just want people to understand this. But, you know, when your brother comes out, like your blood brother comes out and says, I wouldn't have ducked no $15 million from Canelo. That tells me you were offered $15 million to fight Canelo. Okay. Now let's give Charlo the whole benefit of the doubt. Let's say the timing wasn't right. Let's say maybe that's the case, right? But you still can't accuse Canelo of ducking when you offered him a fight.
Yeah.
You know?
Even De La Hoya did it. And we had a disagreement with this guy right here, Nopal, who came to us and said, look, man, De La Hoya said he offered Charlo a lucrative deal, right? D-Style and I said, look, we need to see proof of this deal or whatever. Like, we can't just take a promoter's word as gold. You just can't.
Never. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. And it wasn't until Jermell Charlo came out and said, I would have never ducked $15 million to fight a Canelo. Boom!
I wasn't taking Oscar De La Hoya's word for it because that's it's a conflict of interest.
And you're right, no, Paul. Right. They did. Dante and Aki both pretended like that never happened. They never acknowledged that.
Watch this though. Again, I say this. When somebody's trying to be honest, you cannot deny what Canelo is in the sport of boxing today. Mm-hmm. Can we all agree here that Canelo is running the show right now?
Santel.
What did he say? What's that?
Blankets. He's referring to your go to sleep.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is this.
Guys, speaking of blankets, like I felt like, man, I think I'm getting COVID last night. But earlier today, I got some caldo from my abuela, bro.
Man.
Ooh,
bro,
that's the cure. That's the cure.
Funky was eating caldo too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the secret, bro.
Caldo de pollo.
Hey, you know, you want me to let you in on a secret? I like here in my house, like my wife and stuff, we don't eat meat or nothing. No animal products. And we're not vegans, but we just don't eat meat. I told the wife,
man, it's hard.
I've been doing it for years. It's so beneficial. I told her, listen, for Christmas, we finna eat some meat. I don't care what happens to my stomach. Because my suegra, man, she cooks some good food. And I'm like, I'm not ready to pass on that. As a Latino, I'm not prepared to pass on that. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you, man. I feel you. Bam Bam Tweed says, sorry about that. Wrong comment. Because I want to see Haney versus Russell. I'm just saying we don't know if Haney would have beat Loma. I think he would have. I think he's got a good chance of beating Loma. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
I do. It's
Listen,
not
David confident as Cano is over there. I'm not that
bro, David Haney is a legit talent.
Yes.
Nobody's saying he isn't. The only thing we're saying here is for the good of this fight, it will be good for him to take Loma out of the way and then get Teofimo, or Loma out of the way and a couple of other good names and then get Teofimo.
Exactly.
Man, when you see David Haney, if you want to say that he's not good, you're stupid. Period. That's it. Hands down. This cat has, when you see him fight, he has the persona.
Can I ask you a question, though, Raw?
Go ahead.
Do you know if he has a chin or not?
We don't, but that is the reason. But watch this though. That is the reason we want to see him. We don't want no free meals to
right. Because even a fighter like Mayweather, right? As talented as he was, if he didn't have a chin, he would have lost to Mosley. He would have lost to Laptop. He would have lost to a lot of guys.
And you want to know how what we're saying here about David Haney is so true? When did we really find out that Floyd had a chin? Think about it.
When he fought Drunken Master, Castillo.
Yeah, you're right. You're the Drunken Master fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Was it 16 fights into his? Was it 10 fights into his career? Was he a no man? Listen, let's find out what both of this fight. Teofimo has 3 or 4 consecutive fights where he's been answering a lot of questions. You can't deny that. In one of them, he didn't even look that good, but still came victorious.
That's
right?
Fair. That's fair, Cano.
Yeah,
You know?
I was just gonna say, I hear you, Cano. Cano.
Hey, see what conversation does. Like, we come up with a compromise. Now everybody agrees
Yeah.
on something. That's what it's all about.
And
You know what I
Listen,
mean?
guys, none
and
of
he's
this
still
here. I want people to understand something. I don't agree with this guys 100% of the times. They don't agree with me 100% of the times. You don't see us cussing each other out, racially calling each other's names, hating on each other. We're sharing a group right now. That's how it should be across YouTube. That's how it should be between you guys in the comment section. It's just a sport, guys.
Exactly.
We're not going to agree on everything all the time. Let's stop the nonsense.
And we're not going to be right all the time either. I'll give you an example.
Correct.
I thought Leo Santa Cruz had a good chance to beat Tank Davis. Now he did some things, but ended up getting caught, getting put to sleep.
Watch
But
so
I went over to. I just
In
want to say
that
this,
fight, bro. For 6 rounds, Tank fans were sweating it. I know.
hey, that's what I was gonna say though.
Yeah.
Hey, Leo, I never gave him a chance either. But Leo was putting in some work,
Mhm.
you know. But
Definitely.
we all know Leo didn't have the firecrack to put Tank out,
Yeah.
and we all knew Tank did have the firecrack. So I don't know.
Yeah, I picked him, but I was wrong. And you know what I did? I went on a big platform, a BFTV. I'll just say his name because I was on a show. I went on his show. He asked me who I thought was going to win. I said, I'm giving Leo a good chance. And I said, look, man, if I'm wrong, I'll come back. Say I'm wrong. And you know what I did? 30 minutes after the fight was over, went straight to his channel, took my medicine like a man. That's how you're supposed to do it here, man. You get something right, you get something wrong. You move on to the next one, man. It's that simple, you know?
Everybody gets fights wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Gano with Cal Brook. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Hey, he kept reminding me about the uppercut, so I had to get a little gancho liga in. You know what I mean?
Nopal Boxellano says Haney has to figure out a way if no fights available, move up to 140. And you know, this fight could potentially take place at 140.
At 140,
because we cannot sit here and pretend that Teofimo's going to stay at the same weight for the rest of his career. Okay, but that's exactly what I'm saying. These fighters are kids. They're kids.
Yeah.
And now we want to. How long did it took to make Trinidad versus De La Hoya, my dudes?
And I'll be honest with you, like they made it at the right time.
Yes.
Like, boom.
They did.
They were in their
Mega
late
fight.
20s.
like an unofficial tournament.
Yeah.
You know what
They
I mean?
were in their late 20s, 20, 26, 27, I believe.
Yes.
Both guys.
Mega
Yeah.
fight. Now, I would be pressing for that fight if one of these two fighters was old. For example, when Rigondo was after Nonito, Rigo was old.
Yeah, he had to get that one.
The time was now.
He's
right
old now. He's still around.
It's now. So that's the pressure. Hey, man, this dude's getting old. It's now. These two fighters, they're not going anywhere for now.
Nope.
Shout out to Nonito. He gave him a shot.
He did.
Yes.
Guy
Yep.
that gave him a shot.
He did. You know?
And let me go on record and
He
say
didn't want that rematch, but he gave him a shot. Though.
I did pick Rigo to win that fight when there's a lot of people out there that didn't think so, but I did pick him. The video's still up, by the way.
I'll be honest with you. There's two fights, guys, that I feel like I couldn't believe how people had it wrong. It was definitely Teofimo against Loma and Rigondeaux Donaire. Like I had the same feeling. Like I couldn't believe what I was hearing from people come out of their mouths. You know what I mean?
You want to know one fight that really, when I gave my thoughts, I don't want to call it a prediction, but when I gave my thoughts on it, people were like, "Oh, I used to believe in you as a boxing analyst. After this, you're just crap." When Danny Garcia was set to face Lucas Mathies, that I said, "Yo, Garcia's gonna." Hey, the video's up. Y'all can go watch it. I said Garcia's gonna beat Mathies.
I was wrong about that one.
Everybody was like,
I was wrong about that one too.
Everybody was like, "Oh, Ranger, you're going crazy. What are you smoking?"
You know whose fault it is that I got that one wrong? Like I don't know why, man. I was watching and he made a lot of good points, but Teddy was like really high. Teddy Addis, he was really high on what he said. Look how he set up this shot in the third round, but in the fourth, when he really landed it, like he was like bringing it, like, "Oh, this guy's good." Like I was really high on Matisse at the time, and I wasn't that high on Garcia, to be honest with you. You know, but I did say he's gonna catch Garcia with a big shot and knock him out, and he did catch him with a shot.
Yeah,
the mouthpiece flew out and everything.
Yep.
It's just that La Fajada, he couldn't knock him out.
Yeah.
Bro. Hey, but that's the beauty about boxing, bro. Boxing is not when you see a car rolling downhill without brakes and without a driver, the only conclusion you're going to reach is it's going to wreck into something, right? Boxing is not like that. Boxing, you think something's going to happen and then he gives you something different. It's a Pandora box. That's why I love boxing. That's why I love soccer or football. Let me not disrespect it. That's why I love football. Okay. So, like, again, guys, David Haney, Teofimo Lopez, excellent fighters. They need to fight. Of course, they need to fight. Nobody's denying that.
Right.
Let's just stop the nonsense with the ducking.
Yes.
Okay. Because the main objective, the main barrier here is the promotional Cold War. Okay. So let's just stop it. David Haney knows this, man. A lot of fighters do this for camera action, bro. More views for views, bro. That's just it, man.
Look, I mean, do I blame Devin Haney for attaching himself to Teofimo's name and calling him out? No.
Nope.
No. I don't have a beef with Haney at all. My issue, dude, is like this attitude that I'm seeing towards Teofimo Lopez. Like, you better fight him, or if you don't do it, like that's how I feel about it. I kind of feel that there's like this kind of attitude of like, you better do what we say, like.
And there's nothing racist about Teofimo making David Haney wait. There's nothing racist about that.
Nope.
There's
not
nothing
at all.
Racist. That is a disgusting word to be using in this situation. Again, I agree that boxing does have racism. This is not one of those cases, guys.
Yeah. And I want to say this, man. RawBoxingTV, mi hermano. That was a great point you made about Oscar and Tito. Great point, man, because that was at the time when that happened, that broke the pay-per-view record.
Oh, I lived in Jersey City, New Jersey when that happened, okay?
It happened at the perfect time.
I lived in Jersey City, New Jersey, in the heart of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, okay? and all you could hear at school was, well, he ain't fighting. Well, this needs to happen. And when that fight happened, bruh, and the decision was what it was. Hey, man. But my point is,
it was Rob.
It took. Of course, he was. It took a while to make this fight, and look what it turned out to be when it came to this. When it came to fame, and I'll just go out on a limbo here, and I want to say something in front of these two guys, just so that I don't get robbed of the opportunity. My next Legends Only fight request will be Trinidad versus De La Hoya.
Yes, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, man.
I'm just gonna say that.
This is uncensored, and we go off script sometimes. Check this out, guys. Today, on this date today, 20 years ago, we had Tito Trinidad versus El Feroz, Fernando Vargas.
Ooh, what a fight, homie.
Good fight. One of my all-time favorite fights, man. No doubt about it.
What a fight.
Oh, man. I love
that
fight so much.
But watch this, D. And watch this, G.
Those low blows, but it's all right.
Watch this. Watch this, guys. You realize that the reason a lot of boxing fans today are so desperate for fights like this is because we don't have fighters like we used to have them back in the days. Think about it. Who today is the Tito Trinidad of Puerto Rico? Nobody. Okay.
Cano Loco is.
Okay. Who today is Oscar De La Hoya for Mexican Americans?
Keep that up, D-Style. Keep that up.
Who today is the Oscar De La Hoya for Mexican Americans? Nobody. For Mexicans, we got Canelo. Yeah, we got that. Who today is the Mexican Americans for the Fernando Vargas? You know one guy that I was totally high on, bro. Panchito Bojado, bro.
Oh, yes. I remember Panchito for sure. Yeah. Had the same haircut as Vargas, everything. Yeah.
For real, my dude.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the right? What's that?
Oh, no, he was putting something up. Go ahead.
I'm saying Panchito Bojado, I was high on that kid. I said that kid was going to be something, and then life strike. You see what I'm saying?
We went from Bojado to mojado. You know what I mean? Like, I could make that joke because I'm Mexican. Anyway, but yeah, like this is the tournament.
Hey, we Cubans. Hey, D. We Cubans can make that joke too because we cross the ocean sometimes. We get our backs wet too.
Yeah.
So hey, just watch. We can make that joke too.
Look. So Theo beat Comey, beat Loma. He's waiting in the final, and you're telling me right now, Haney don't have to fight nobody. Like, what's going on over here?
Hey, dude.
If you guys want to like tournament base, like you guys always say, this guy's got some work to do, man. Just saying.
I mean, are we gonna put the duty beat here, and then like, is the Gamboa fight really here? Is it like for real?
One thing I like to say to guys is, listen, when it comes to Dante's Boxing Nation, when it comes to Aki TV, so let's eliminate Aki. When it comes to Dante's Boxing Nation, the dude knows boxing. Here's one thing I gotta say. If you don't like what he's saying, don't support when you see a video where you smell what's coming. This is the only way we're gonna change YouTubers' way of making videos. Because if he makes a video like that and we jump on it like a lion on a steak, it's gonna produce something that we all like. It's greens, right? But then we can't complain at the fact that he's delivering those kinds of video. If everybody would be like, well, let me see this thumbnail. Oh yeah, Glovegate, I'm not gonna watch that. When they start seeing the changes, they're gonna have to make a change.
Gonna happen, bro. You know why? Because they get views not just from the people that love to watch them, but the hate watchers too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you're right.
People that can't stop talking about him, like they'll come over here and be like, fuck that guy. You know what I mean?
And I'm not down with that. But again, I absolutely, I'm kind of shocked, to be honest with you, coming back and seeing what I'm seeing.
Right.
And because he'd be like me, ignoring everything I know about boxing now, and then just go on a different way of looking at the sport, knowing that I have this arsenal of knowledge that I could be sharing with people. I don't know. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I'm not liking the accusations without sufficient evidence to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think they should all be grateful that they're not being sued for defamation of characters. All of them.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you something. So you kind of briefly touched on it at the very beginning, right? Like what's seeping in. I like how you put that in. You know what I mean? There's like a new trend now, truth decay, where people, ignore facts. They just want to be like, as long as you tell them what they want to hear, as long as if you can make any assertion, as long as you make it with confidence. I think, to me, I mean that's a big thing. I think that's the reason we're seeing a lot of what we're seeing in boxing. And boxing commentary specifically.
What's Chicano saying? Chicano Prophet said something about I ducked Canelo. What is he saying?
He ducked raw boxing question about Canelo.
What question?
Ask what you need to ask, my homie.
What question? Yeah. What question, bro?
The Canelo cartel now. Look over here.
Yeah.
Start bubble. Okay, but all right.
Ask whatever you need to ask.
Type it in there, bro. Type it in there, Chicano. We got you, man. We got you.
Do you think Canelo's the greatest of all time? That's probably what he asked. I mean, what else would he ask?
Of all time?
That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. But it wouldn't surprise me if he did ask that. But we're just waiting on him to drop that question in here so we can get it in there, because we don't duck no smoke around here, man. What's wrong with you, Chicano?
I don't call nobody the greatest of all time. I call them the greatest of their time. The term the greatest of all time would only fit Muhammad Ali, which is from this town right here where I'm at right now. And it's not just based on boxing. It's based on his social justice movement. It's based on the kind of person he was. It's based on bringing Olympic gold medals to the United States. It's based on everything he did, being a conscientious objector of the war. That's why Ali is called the greatest of all time. But boxers, in my book, do not earn that title. What's the question? I'm waiting for the beef. What's up?
I guess this is it right here.
We ducked. Like, not you.
He's saying D-Style and I ducked. Okay.
Well, I said Canelo was dominant and asked HCP what they thought, and HCP didn't answer. Yeah, he's one of the top fighters in the sport. You know,
Yeah.
I say
he's
Canelo
not
right now.
dominating. I'm not ready to say dominant right now because he's not dominating 168.
No, he's not. But I'm saying, but unfortunately, and I say this unfortunately because I'm more to the boxing side than the
Right.
business
I
side.
mean, he's the most skilled of the 168 pounders. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Watch this for a second. Who's bringing in more money right now than Canelo? How many? How many people can say that they're bringing in more money than Canelo?
Well,
How many?
We could say Tyson Jones this week.
Yeah, Tyson Jones.
But before
Exactly.
that, nobody. Yeah, before that, nobody.
Tyson
Facts.
Jones, like Tyson reclaimed the pay-per-view throne, like in
Yeah.
2020.
Facts. Now watch this though. Now watch this. Canelo fought the Kryptonite GGG twice. Okay, the first fight, you know, people, you know,
Well, it was close.
You know,
It could have gone either way.
you
Yeah.
know, you want to go there, but the second fight, he answered the questions. The question we have to ascertain is what happened to the Kryptonite? Because I saw GGG land everything on Canelo, and the dude was just like, nope, you ain't gonna wobble me. My thing is this. That's why I keep telling people 7 years ago, I wasn't ready to put Canelo in the pedestal I have him on today. That's why I was called a hater.
Same for me. Same for me.
Okay.
Man.
That's why I was, oh, Ranger, you're so anti-Mexican. No, homies, I'm talking pure boxing. Today, you ask me, and he belongs where he's at because he has answered all the questions that we had. Now, some people can choose to remain as haters. That's fine. But, homie, Canelo is Canelo. And do I want to see him against the Chalos? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You know,
it's funny. Raw Boxing is D-Style and I used to talk about that fight all the time. And then guys would come to our channel. Oh, this is the Charlo channel. This is the Charlo fan club. You know, and it's like, we just want to see the fight, bro. Like, take it easy. You know, I think he.
Tomases.
Yeah, they call us Tío Tomás y todo, you know.
Wow.
And I just said, hey,
one
man.
day I'm a Tío Tomás, right? Like the next day, I'm like, you know, un rey. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I gotta be real with you though. As of now, I've never suffered no heat from my Cubans. I'm pretty sure a lot of them never agreed with me. But even when I made a video talking about some of the talent that's stuck in Miami, I hate Miami for Cuban boxers. I wish Miami would disappear for Cuban boxers because it destroys their career immediately. But even when I said some negative things about some Cuban boxers and their personal lifestyle that was affecting their professional lifestyle, I got to be real. The Cuban community that followed me never gave me any heat, you know. For Mexican fans to call you guys Tío Tomases just because you're wanting to see more from Canelo.
I mean, it's water.
It's water under the bridge at this point. And matter of fact, this is him right here, Nopal, who's a part of the cartel. He's a part of HCP. So, you know, again, we don't take things personal around here, baby. It's all good. You know, it's all good. But hey, man, I want to say this. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for the Cubanos, man, because I feel like they always get a bad shake in close fights. They go through a lot to get here, to make themselves money, to support their family and stuff like that. I mean, I've done a lot of reading on the history of Cuba and the Revolucion and all that there. So I mean, I get the struggle, you know, and that's why I have a soft spot for them, man, in my heart, man. You know,
Robert Garcia said it better. Okay, he when asked, Robert Garcia said, "Look, to me, Cuban fighters are cream de la crop, but the problem they got is they don't have the backing here." Think about this for a minute.
Yeah.
There's less than 10 million Cubans in the US. How many Mexicans there in the US?
There's
there's more than that illegally here. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah.
So and to that I want to say this. Look.
Yeah.
When you call yourself a boxing fan, it's time that we bring this to a close because it's time that even if we don't fix the boxing YouTube community, let's at least talk to our followers and change the way they view boxing. When it comes to boxing, boxing is composed of many styles. And I get that sometimes your favorite fighter is fighting another fighter that knows how to use the ring and moves a lot. Let's just stop. Let's stop saying, oh, that dude's running. That's not running, dude. As a coach, as a fighter, I can tell you, my fighters need to learn how to use that ring. My fighters need to learn how to fight going back. My fighters need to learn how to bob and weave, counter punch to the body while going under. That's not running. Boxing is not rock and sock 'em. It's not here all the time. We need to start learning how to appreciate every single fighter. Now, I know that some fighters are tough. Winky Wright was somebody who was kind of like, I'm trying to stay awake, right? But nevertheless, you cannot deny the dude had skills. The Klitschko brothers will put me to sleep. But that's because of the way they fought. But to say that, oh, this fighter is not good because all he does is run, it's not true. Fighters don't win fights running. They just don't. They just, you don't win a fight while you're running. You win a fight if you're outlanding, if you're outclassing, even if it's off the back foot, moving backwards. It's shameful what has happened. It's shameful what's happening with the YTBC today with all these medias now, the new media and the old medias and the teenage medias and whatever kind of media. Homies, boxing is media.
Yeah.
Hey man, listen, boxing, at the end of the day, boxing is a sport that you're always going to have the different points of views.
Yep.
Okay? You're always going to have the different points of views. But I always say, I'm going to say this to the YTBC in the same manner I said it in the past to the boxing fans. If you don't want to see a fighter taking on another fighter, don't watch it. Eventually, promoters will have to figure out, why is this fighter not getting views? Right? The question will then be brought to the table. Who is he fighting? Maybe we need to fight him against what the people want to see. In the YTBC, if you see a thumbnail with a title, a lot of them are tricky. Maybe you fall for the trap. But the minute you see or hear something you don't like, thumb the video down and get out. Stop. That's the only way you're going to make a change or even spark a minor change.
Yeah, just stop watching, man.
Another way to make a change is support content that you like. You know what I mean?
Facts.
That's gonna make a change. But I gotta tell you though, when it comes to the Cuban fight, I always hear everyone bitching and complaining about, oh, our fighters don't get a fair shake, and our fighters like nobody has it worse than the Cubans. Like nobody. Okay, Ugas dominated a fight in California. Dominated. I'm not just saying he squeaked it out, and they scored it like 9 rounds to 3 for the other guy.
Yeah.
Okay. It was so bad. I thought that the judge fucked up, like the names. You know what I mean? But no, that's what it turned in. Like
terrible.
And it didn't happen one time. It happened 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
It happened 3 fucking times.
That's true.
That is insane.
Speaking of Ugas,
I'm telling you right now, like that is crazy. Which is why one of the reasons I was okay with the ending of the embargo, aside from I just think it's the right thing to do, but I don't want to get into politics of it. Like, William Lara dominated that fight. I mean, that was ridiculous.
One of the worst decisions I've ever seen.
I mean, it was impossible to score that fight for Williams. Impossible.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if he tried, I don't think he's given 3 rounds. I just don't.
Yeah.
But like, I think Cubans need a home. Everyone has a home. At the end of the day, and it's like the Cubans for a long time. Professional boxing was banned in Cuba. Okay.
Is that a question?
Like the Cubans boxing community claims Rolly. I don't know who Rolly is. I'm just now coming back to the YouTube boxing community again.
Ronnie Romero.
He's easing in. That's a good way to avoid that question too. I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying it's a perfect.
No, seriously. G Funk will tell you. Him and I talk all the time. He tells me some things. And I'm like, what? No, I don't. I don't. I don't know who you're talking about.
I got to tell you, I think it is important for Latinos to support Latino fighters, right? And that comes down to the Cubans as well. Honestly,
Yeah.
Yes.
that's why I've always supported the Cuban fighters.
Yeah.
Always, okay. From the Ortizes at heavyweight to Gamboa, maybe not now, but when he was doing
Yeah.
his thing, all the way back. I mean, I could go all the way back to Joel Casamayor. I mean,
Sevilla was evil, dude.
yeah, like we gotta support these guys, man. Boxing fans need to support them. Like
Quick
they
fact
have
about
no
Cepillo.
back. I mean, let me just give you look. I honestly don't think he would have gotten away with this if it was any other ethnic group. I really don't.
Yeah.
Steve Kim, I'm just gonna, I want to be transparent about who I'm talking about. Okay, the tweet is still out there. Tweet it out. You could put all these Cubans in a raft and send them back to Cuba. I don't want to watch them. Okay?
But that's not racist somehow, right?
Come on, dude. That's like overt. We're not even trying to like parse words here. I mean, that was out of line in my opinion. And then
Yeah.
not only that, who was the fighter that got robbed against Rios? Remember the Cubans?
Cute, tall, light-skinned.
He dominated Rios.
Yeah.
You know what he did? Hey, you want to know what that
Abrigo.
fighter did? That fighter was smart.
Before I forget,
Go ahead.
I just want to say, Steve Kim tweeted out, okay, I mean, we know Rios didn't win, but are we really upset about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the wrong guy won. Like he was basically saying,
Yes.
this guy's so boring. He all that night he was tweeting about how boring Abril is, and it's better that
Richard Abril, yeah.
Yeah.
Richard Abril.
But go ahead, Rob.
I remember that fight.
So, two things. Richard Abril, with the money he made in that fight, he bought a farm in Cuba, Isla de la Juventud, which is that small island under the arch of Havana. He lives a good life, okay? Don't get me wrong. But I still think he should have been the man with the hands raised that night. It was a clear robbery, okay?
Yes.
I took a lot of heat for saying it was a robbery. Now, let's talk about Ugas. Okay. We're talking about all this ducking. Okay, so like Ugas beat Crawford in the amateurs. Ugas has been asking for Crawford. We don't hear nothing about that. Have you heard any of those channels making videos about Crawford ducking Ugas? And my question is this. We already saw Ugas. In my opinion, he beat Sham Porter. Okay? In my opinion,
Yeah.
he beat Sham Porter. We already seen he's a serious threat in the division. He has called out Terrence Crawford, except Ugas is not the trash talker. When you see the kid's demeanor, he barely knows what to say in front of a camera, right? But you don't never hear no videos about Crawford ducking. And to me, Crawford doesn't duck anybody. I don't think he's ducking Ugas. Okay, let's make that very clear before we go down that path.
Beat him in the amateurs, though, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my whole thing is this. Just because a fighter doesn't respond to a challenge or even accepts a challenge, it doesn't always mean that they're ducking. Sometimes it means that, but not always, my peoples. Not always, okay? That's just a fact. Real quick, man, because I think I got about 15 minutes before I gotta hit that bait.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Terrence, Spence Jr. and Garcia this weekend.
I dropped my prediction yesterday.
So did I, yeah.
Yeah. And I seen it, man. It's good stuff, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Spence, and I'm gonna have to say this again. I'm probably gonna say it again tomorrow on the roundtable. I made my prediction and breakdown based on Spence not having that car crash because I don't want to take anything away from Danny Garcia if Danny Garcia gets the W. I don't want it to be like, oh well, he was damaged because of the car crash, something like that. He says he's fine. He said it today at the press conference. Stop bringing it up. I'm fine. I got no choice but to believe him at that point. I just think that I don't think Danny's got the kind of style to push and exploit some of the weaknesses that Earl Spence has. But I do think he's got a few things that can work out to his favor. He's a very good counterpuncher. He punches with both hands very well too, and he's got great timing, man. That's something that always kills people is great timing. And it's not like Spence is a defensive wizard himself. You know, he
Yeah,
gets
he
hit a
commits
lot.
his punches a lot too.
Yeah, he commits to the punches, and that's what makes him such a good fighter in a lot of people's opinion. Exciting because he's willing to stick his nose in there. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I think Mayweather, these Mayweather fans that still hang around, they still have this thing of that Mayweather never got hit, so guys don't need. First off, Mayweather did get hit, but this is boxing, man. The first time I ever put a fucking glove on my hand and sparred somebody, the dude told me, "Look, if you don't want to get hit, get the hell out. Don't do it. You're gonna get hit." So let's, it's just the way it is.
Flawless victory
Syndrome. Yes.
That's what it is.
But
okay?
yeah, but I'm just.
But
I think
gets hit like everybody gets hit.
Yeah. So me saying Spence gets hit is not a bad thing. Boxing, it happens. I think Spence's jab. I think he can utilize a jab, keep Garcia neutralized for most of the fight, and I think he gets the job done, man. But guys, check the video, man. We can check the video. D-Style, go ahead, man. Give your thoughts, man.
By the way, those that are interested in betting online, especially if in your state you're not allowed to, justbet.co. No M, just CO.
Or you can get yourself a bookie like me. I'm old school, baby. Go ahead, man.
Do you mean your bookie like in a dark alley somewhere or something like that? Like,
nah, Holmes, he drops off the money, bro. You know.
I'll be really quick because I want to let Raw TV cook right now, man. I know he's limited time and stuff like that, but I just want to say that, Garcia's I mean, he's I use a term from Dwyer, so let me give him some credit, right? Shout out to Dwyer, still doing his thing out there. He's a mid-range hooker, right? So which is I always laugh when I say that, but so he's hooking from mid-range, okay? So that's where he needs the fight to be. Spence can box on the outside, utilizing his jabs and straight punches, right? Come in and out. And I also believe Spence is better on the inside, getting his mitts up, going to the body. I think he's going to be hurting Garcia there. But in order for Spence to go from the outside, to the inside or transition to throw punches, he needs to enter that mid-range realm, right? And Garcia has to catch him either, after blocking the shot and throwing the hook, making a miss and hooking, or while he's coming in, like kind of like beat him to the punch, very similar to the way Crawford did against, Cal Brook, right? Beat him to the punch with good timing. The only problem I have with Garcia is his hook. He winds it up a lot. It's short distance, but it's traveling a lot. You know what I mean? So I don't know how much he's gonna land it. Like, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to land that punch, right? The question is, how often will he land it? And the second question is, when he does land it, how is Errol Spence going to respond?
Oops.
Yeah. And while I appreciate and respect Chief Funky's take in terms of, like, hey, I'm going to treat it as if the car crash never happened. Well, but the car crash did happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we can't ignore it. And I go back to what I said yesterday on HCP. If this wasn't a car crash, but a fight, right? And Spence was beat up so bad that he was knocked out unconscious and he was taken to the hospital and he didn't wake up for a week, we'd be talking a lot differently about what happened. You know what I mean? Like, this is something very traumatic that happened. Now, it's either going to have no effect or a negative effect on Spence. It's not going to have a positive effect. It's either no effect or negative effect. I hope and I pray that it's no effect because I want to see that old school Spence back. And I believe we're going to know when he lands that punch in the jaw. We're going to know. Like if Spence doesn't take it well, it's not going to be a good thing. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And I got Spence winning because since it's an X factor, I just don't know the impact of the crash. I have no choice but just assess it by their styles and what we've seen before. But as far as whether this crash had an impact on Spence or not, we may not even get the answer in the Garcia fight. If Garcia lands a nice, perfect hook, right, and knocks out Spence, we don't know for sure if it was a crash or not. We could assume, right? But we're gonna know, like, maybe in his next fight and the fight after that, if Spence doesn't look the same after a series of fights, then we're going to be able to basically determine, yeah, something went wrong with Spence after that crash. You know what I mean? So we're not going to know for sure. I mean, even after this, but I got to tell you this, man. I remember when I heard the stories, right? When the news came out, and there was a YouTuber, I forget who it was actually. I think it was Carcino. I could be wrong, but he came out and said, "Hey, it's not that bad. He only lost a couple of teeth and had face lacerations, right?
No, you see those
And he's
pictures.
knocked out in the hospital right now." Like, what? What do you mean? That sounds pretty bad, dude. Like, I mean, is it better than the alternative, which would have been him like getting crushed in the vehicle and die? Yes, right. Of course, it's better than what could have happened. But man, I'll be honest with you. I don't want to sound cliche or over the top here, okay? But the fact that he's even training right now and in boxing shape and about to participate in a prize fight against one of the top 5, top 6, 7 welterweights in the world, when I didn't even know the dude was going to be able to walk. Okay, right after I saw the news, I didn't even know he was going to be alive. He was still alive or not when I read the news. I didn't even know this dude will ever even be the same ever again. Right? Is he going to be able to walk? Is he going to be able to do whatever? Right? I am happy for him uh, at a human level that he's in the ring now and he's about to engage in a boxing fight. It's his passion. It's what he loves. And for him to overcome what happened, right? I am happy for him in that department. But those are my thoughts on that.
So when it comes to this fight, as I said yesterday on my video, the miracle child. Okay, I agree with D Style on this one. Look, if Spence Jr. is not looking at life, at boxing in a different perspective than he used to look at it, something's wrong with him. Something has not clicked with him because he should not. This shouldn't be taking place this Saturday. That kid should be in physical therapy, trying to walk on a pool, trying to regret. This should not be happening. However, for the people that are worried about the accident, and I am a little bit too. As I said in my video, Spence is a heavy sparring partner. He's taking hits as a sparring partner. You might say, well, sparring is different, but sparring answers partial parts of that question. Can I take a hit? Because during the sparring, you're taking hits in your chin, in your head. You can assess your body better than no one else can. You can kind of, oh, I didn't like that. Oh, I used to not react to that like that. Okay. And sparring partners have been saying, if you don't come to fight this dude, he gonna get you out of there. So when you ask Spencer Jr., he'll tell you, listen, the reason I chose Danny Garcia is because nobody else could answer the questions that I have. Do we really want to guess what kind of question it is that he has? Of course. The question is, am I the top guy still? Can I still take a shot? Okay. Can I still remain as the guy that's dominating this division? As simple as that. Now, I'm going to partially disagree with D Style when it comes to the mid-range because Spence Jr. is a fighter that likes to set traps from time to time. The most effective way to set traps is on that mid-range, especially when you have an advantage on reach, when you're the taller fighter. You can set that trap at the mid-range when your fighter comes in to bite the hook. All you got to do is take a short step back, bring him into your space, and counter. I think Spence Jr. needs to work all 3 distances throughout this fight. But definitely, and here's where I do agree with you, definitely keep your eyes open when you're at the mid-range because that is the perfect range for Danny Garcia's power. That is his power range, okay? But I do think setting traps in this fight is necessary for Spence Jr., okay? Can you imagine if Spence Jr. does what nobody has done, which is knock out Danny Garcia after coming back of this whole story? It's going to set him up even higher than he's ever been, okay? Yeah. So Spence Jr. has the skills to pay the bills, okay, on all 3 distances. But he does need to watch when he commits to his punches so much. He needs to watch that he doesn't find himself at the end of one of those counter punches.
Yeah.
I'm
Do
gonna
you
roll.
agree he
I'm
needs
gonna
to
I'm
stay
gonna
away
roll
from
with
exchanges?
what's that?
Do you agree that he needs to stay away from exchanging with
I
Danny
do
Garcia?
agree.
'Cause
I
it
do
becomes
agree.
50-50 at that point. You know
I
what I
do
mean?
agree.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the setting of the traps comes into place. Okay, because that's where you cause your damage. That's where where you start getting the upper hand of the fight if your traps are effective. Especially because, like I said, he has the skills to outbox Danny. But let's just say that he does knocks him out. If he knocks him out,
That's a
can,
statement.
I mean, can you imagine what Danny's career
Man.
is going to go through for being knocked out by a guy that was the miracle child?
Yeah. Wow. That'd be big.
Look, I mean, like I think if you look at the laws of probability, the more improbable things happen, the least likely that something improbable is going to happen again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if Spence like goes from like he survives this crash, he comes out, yes, with serious injuries. I want to make sure people understand this, but not life-threatening injuries. Like he was able to recover, come back, get back to boxing, get in the ring with Danny Garcia, knock out Danny Garcia. I mean, that would be a series. Like you would have to believe like it's destiny for this guy to be here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To be in that spot to get this win.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe it's destiny for us boxing fans to be graced by the boxing gods and be given Crawford versus Spence. Right?
That needs to happen.
Yeah.
That needs to happen. I want to see also. I'll tell you one fight that needs to happen too, man. Like, I don't understand. Oh, by the way, Sean Porter is officially becoming, I believe today,
mandatory.
he's
For
mandatory for Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
He's mandatory.
Do it.
So that's a good fight, and I'm gonna do a video on that too. But let's see what happens with
Crawford
this.
stops him too, by the way.
What's that?
Crawford stops Sean Porter.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think Crawford's the one to knock him out.
Make sure all you guys that are here right now, the link to Raw Boxing TV's channel is in the description box. Subscribe to the man's channel. He's back, baby. He's making videos. I know a lot of people
Appreciate it.
saying that they like what they're hearing from you. Bring him on more often. We're gonna get him on more often, that's for sure, man. And I'll be jumping over there on his platform as well. So and also I'm gonna give a shout out to our sponsor, the official sponsor of Hispanics Causing Panic, Loyal Roots. Make sure you go to loyalroots.com. You can see him at Loyal Roots on Instagram and at Loyal Roots as well on Twitter for all of your apparel.
It's Loyal Roots _.
Okay.
Loyal _Roots, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not good with Instagram because I don't have Instagram, but yes, shout out to the sponsor, the new sponsor, the first official sponsor.
Hell yeah, dude. Hispanos causando pánico.
That's right, baby. Hey, let me ask you, Raw Boxing, are you down with HCP?
Yeah, man, I like the name. Like I said, as long as it's very original. Listen, my new take on the YTBC. I mean, y'all gonna be shocked because I'm a little different than what I used to be. I'm 35 years old. I'm a lot older than I used to be. Okay, let's start with that.
Damn, bro, I'm older than you. I didn't know that.
yeah. My homie, look at the salt and pepper, dude. Okay.
I'm getting there, but I pull mine out.
Look at this, homie.
Yeah.
Hey.
I get mine, but I pull them out, bro. Like, oh, fuck that shit.
Man, listen. So my whole thing is this: Hispanics causing panic. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that name. My whole thing is, we don't, as long as we don't offend each other's ethnicities, and as long as we can carry on very respectful conversations like the one that we've been having today, this is what it's all about, homie.
Yes.
This is what it's all about, regardless of skin color, regardless of language, regardless of taste in boxing. This is what it's all about. This is what we need to keep doing. And again, I'll tell you guys this. Even if we go to bed knowing that we only got 14 views today, if we can go to bed knowing that we were honest in our assessment, that's all that matters, homie, for real.
Absolutely, man. And that's one of the main reasons why we had you on, man, because
I
you
don't put the
know,
link. Oh, guys, G Funky Meat's on the description, not on the chat. The link.
yeah,
Right?
it's in the description underneath the video, you know. Well, you could always look at it after we're done with the live here, but it's there, man.
Yeah, they can
But
just put Raw Boxing TV and
yeah,
something
just
will
the
pop.
same way he has it right now on the screen. Type that in under the search bar and he'll pop right up, man. Yeah, man, this has been great. I know Raw Boxing has got to take off. He's over in the East Coast, man, so it's late for him. He's got work in the AM, you know what I'm saying? So anything you want to say, man, before we head out?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you. Thank you guys for hanging around. Listen, I wish I could sit down in the same room with all the subscribers that for 7 years never left. There's about 2,000 of them that stayed. So I wish I could stay in the same room and say thank you. For the other thousands that left, I also understand. You know, I'm not doing video. I'm out. You know, um, we're here. We're gonna try to put in some work. Um, you're not gonna hear me follow no emotional narrative. Sometimes I'm gonna say things that's gonna get to your nerves, and sometimes you're gonna post things that's gonna get to my nerves. The one thing I'm guaranteeing you is I'm never disrespecting you on the comments, and that's the only thing I ask from you. Don't disrespect me. I'll never disrespect you. I want to hear your thoughts, even if they don't match mine. Okay, because I'm pretty sure my thoughts will never match yours, or not always gonna match yours. So, shouts out to Hispanic Cousin Panic. Nothing but the best for you guys. Okay, keep putting in the grind. Keep putting in the grind. The fact that you guys have an sponsor already says a lot. Keep pushing. Listen, don't forget something. Although we speak English, you're gonna have to sharpen up on your Spanish because I got a Spanish channel coming up.
Vamos a hacer en español. Yo no tengo problema con eso.
Oh, pero G
Yeah.
Funky C, right?
No, not as good as you guys. Not as good as you guys. No.
Okay. So listen, remember something. There's hundreds of millions of Hispanics in the world. Okay?
Yeah.
Once I pop that channel, I need y'all to get on the move. Y'all can make a Hispanic channel too. We need to start reaching this. And then there's really going to be Hispanic causing panic in the YTBC. We need to go across the board, not just in America, not just in English-speaking nations.
I swear, every time we do a video, like, I swear to God, I see feathers all over the place. Like, oh shit, we ruffled a lot.
And again, disclaimer for everybody. I'm not gonna sit here and say that Dante is gonna like what I have said here today. Only thing I can tell you is, to me, I still consider him my homie. Because I don't hold grudges. Same thing for Aki. But all I can tell you is today, I try to be honest with you guys. And again, Dante knows a lot about boxing. It's just unfortunate that right now he has ignored the arsenal of knowledge that he possesses, and he's going down this road. But that's it for me, guys. And if you do subscribe, thank you. If you don't, also cool. You know, we're free to make our own choices here.
Yep. And I'll let you know before we close out, the reason we chose, well, D-Style, he kind of put it together. Do you remember Juan Lascano, the fighter, Juan Lascano?
Sounds familiar.
His nickname going into the ring was the Hispanic causing panic. Now, the reason why we took it is because Lascano was born and grew up where D-Style lives in El Paso.
Okay.
Then he came over to California and fought out of Sacramento, which is where I live. So we said, hey, Lascano, Hispanic causing panic. We're both from the cities that he's from, that he fought out of. It just made sense, you know. So
that's where my wife family's from Sacramento. She's got some family
really?
That lives there. Yeah.
Well, shit, bro. You guys ever come down? You need to get a hold of me, man. You know.
My wife and I would love to go over there one of these days, but it's just like, man, it's just like life's too busy, bro.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know,
I hear you.
Life's too busy. We want to go to Cuba. I want to go to Mexico. She's from Veracruz, a little town called Los Tigres. We want to go to all these places, but life's busy, bro.
Yep, I hear you, man. A lot's changed for me as well. That's one of the main reasons why I took my break too. I took about a 2-year break, so I hear you, man. But yeah, guys, this has been great. I want to ask Raw Boxing to stick around for a few minutes after we close out.
Yeah.
But I want to thank everybody who came, everybody in the chat. Smash the like button if you haven't. Make sure you subscribe. D-Style, you got something?
Speaking of, we're at 39 likes. Who's got
Heck
that
yeah.
extra like? Who's gonna give us the 40th like?
Like, is there a reason you're watching and you're not hitting the thumbs up or thumbs down? I mean, it makes no reason.
It's not like the Joker. You know, like the Joker would be like, shake my hand. He would shake his hand. He would like
we got it. We got it.
I swear to God, give us that 40th like here on Uncensored. You know what I mean? It's you know, just give us that 40th like. There we go. Somebody put it there. Thank you so much. All right, that's all I got.
Yep. So we're going to close this one out. This was a great episode of Uncensored. Like, again, I want to thank my co-host D-Style Boxing, our special guest RawBoxingTV. We're going to close this thing out, man.
Tomorrow.
Yep. Roundtable tomorrow on D-Style's channel, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Make sure you guys are there. For the rest of the panel, this is G Funky Boxing, HCP Uncensored. We are out. See you on the next one.
Check out.